Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Spooky Japan podcast. Today we have a very special guest that we're excited about, Adam Kimmell. How you doing, Adam?
Hey guys, thank you so much for having me on the show. We talked for a while and I'm so glad we got it to work out.
Oh, yes. We've been looking forward to this. We've been hoping that, you're one of those guests that does make a reappearance on the show as well. And for anyone who doesn't know who you are, since we have listeners all over, how would you introduce yourself?
The quickest way to say it is paranormal investigator of 14 years. I am the owner of the historic Madison Seminary in Madison, Ohio. I bought that in 2016. It is a known haunted location that's had many visitors, regular guests and paranormal investigators, many TV shows, many YouTubers. I also own the Fairfield County Infirmary out in Lancaster, Ohio, another well-known historic and much haunted location. I've had that since 2020. And I also do my own series that I've been doing for about 14 years known as Resident Undead on YouTube.
Sounds like a lot. Yeah, one of the first videos I saw of you that made me say that I needed to have you on this show was you had someone at your location. I'm going to say it was probably one of those social media investigators. And everyone knows what I mean by that. They're not really investigators. They're there for the likes, the views. You did not put up with it. Like, they were not taking it seriously. So you just grab your crap and you're like, I'm done. Bye. Fuck y'all. I'm out. And you're like, wait, what's going on? And you're like, nope, I'm not doing this to you guys. And you just left.
So everybody knows.
Oops.
You had said to me, is there anything you don't want to say? And I respected that. I was like, let's do it. Nothing's off the table. I really love the realness. And you're referring to Speed and Kai, who they are. I didn't know about them. We had a 3-day warning that they were coming. They booked it just like anyone else. And Addie, my manager, she didn't know until they sent a screenshot like, oh, by the way, this is who we are, just so you know, and blah, blah. And I'm looking, it's got like 20-some million subscribers. I'm like, who are these people? And my son, who's 14, he was in the living room when I looked at the text, and I was like, who is Speed? I show Speed, and he literally jumps off the couch. He's like, why? I was just watching him today. And I'm like, oh, no. I'm already understanding the demographic. You know what I mean? Like, demographic for a younger audience. It's chaos. And I said, my son's name's Atticus. And I was like, Atticus, show me something with him. And literally all he showed me was clips of him barking, yelling, making out with robots.
Oh,
no. But I also knew he was one of the US's biggest streamers. And I'm like, oh, he plays games too. I bet they're going to come to the seminary and they're going to play video games in the asylum. Because we've had streamers do tons of stuff. Wrong. I was very wrong. And they gave me they weren't mostly when this is now the YouTube generation. The time goes over. But the problem is I understand TV shows very well. They come in with structure. They tell you what they want to do. You have a set schedule, what's going to happen that day. When they rolled in, I only had a 5-minute warning that we had about 250,000 viewers watching live. And, oh, we need you to walk the boys around and ghost hunt a little bit. I'm like, oh, my God. Seriously? 5-minute warning? Yeah. Well, you saw how that ended. I lasted about 20 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see what built up to it. I just remember after a while you're like, I'm not doing this. I'm packing up. Fuck this. I'm done.
I'm out. They thought I was joking with them. Like I was out. And it was when I realized like, okay, there's a lot of controversy in the paranormal, right? As far as like people that are doing it for clickbait, the people that are doing it, because they really love it and they're being serious about it. It's funny. The way I put it is I went to college for 5 years studying political science, international security, and counterterrorism. And I had every intention of becoming a politician, and I just hated politics towards the end. It's very sticky. It's a headache. And I learned that, and I dropped out with only 6 credits to go. I was supposed to go to Washington, D.C., and I'm like, I'm not going to be someone's coffee boy for 6 credits, you know? So I dropped out. And the irony of this is, after getting out of politics, I've learned that everything we do is some form of politics, social politics.
Mm-hmm.
And I see both sides, right? I have, oh my God, 20,000 guests per year at each location. ISS is even bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Every team you can imagine. I've met the diehards that are like, we don't even post our evidence. This is for us and what we do. And then there's the ones that do post it, but they're only posting what they believe is the most credible. Then there's the ones that everything's a demon that they find. And clickbait. It's social politics, and I try to be, I look at it as religion. So because I do not believe in demons the way it's seen in the paranormal,
right?
I stop people from coming to the properties. Like, I don't tell people, if you're doing that, you can't come here, because some locations have put their do that here, right? And I'm like, I don't stop people from what they're going to do. That's their night to investigate, and it's really like their form of religion. Mm-hmm. If I were to tell someone how to investigate, then I'm really infringing on the freedom of investigation and the creativity of the field, and what could be done to solve this paranormal puzzle, right? So it's always a headache, because trust me, I can speak on both halves. It's like it's Democrats and Republicans, dude, of the paranormal. I can give you both sides and see where their views are, but it's wild.
Yeah, I just remember seeing that. And we've talked to other people with haunted locations. I don't understand why a lot of them tolerate that as much as they do. They're like, I'm just gonna get through tonight, and it's like, but why? Mm-hmm. If you know that they're just there for the views and the likes.
And that's a tough line. You know, when you mix entertainment and science, it was doomed, right? It was already doomed, because there's the ones that are going to really try to entertain while they do it. I know why some properties do it, is that it is business, right? They are paying to be there. The way I look at it is, I'm very verbal and smash mouth, that my opinion is, I'm glad you're bringing more eyes into the paranormal. Like, we had Sam and Colby out here, and Sam and Colby are seen as to be very controversial, as in, you know, I've worked with them 3 times. Very good-hearted boys. They're nice. They're new to the paranormal, and I mean, they've been doing it now for a little bit now, but, you know, a lot of people think that they're just clickbaiting and things like that. But regardless of what you think about Sam and Colby or anybody, the crowd of interest they bring to the paranormal, of people that never were interested, is huge. And the theory goes that it's like when Ghost Adventures came out and all these people started becoming interested. Those are now the ones that are in play, that are regularly investigating. And after a while, you start to realize, hey, TV isn't the way it is. Like, we know Zach is finding demons everywhere, and that's just not realistic. They, you know, it's help us get more people interested, and we will course correct it over time.
Unfortunately, that's a lot of people's expectations when they investigate, is TV. And I've been to public ghost hunts where we had to shut down early due to a lot of it is people. And I do agree with, if you're going to see if you're into the paranormal, a public investigation is the way to go to see if you're kind of interested. But a lot of people go there assuming they're more interested than they really are. And then unfortunately, those public ghost hunts get shut down early, because a lot of them are just like, this isn't what I expected. It is not exciting. It's a lot of sit around and wait. It's a lot of sit around in a dark room looking like you're talking to yourself, hoping something happens. Right. Compared to when you're on TV, it's always this active and interesting. I'm like, it's not that way in person.
No. And I think you'll start to realize that, you know, many of them will. They'll start to realize that it's not as exciting. When you have an episode for TV, I've worked with production companies before. We were signed with a production company. The only production company I would have worked with out of the 7 or so that came and talked, they said, we don't want to change anything about what you do. You know, there's a way to do it with honesty, integrity, and be entertaining. You guys know Joshua Gates, Expedition Unknown. Okay, yeah. Here's the prime example. He is one of the most interesting men to watch. He is so engaging. He's charismatic. But I know when I'm watching that episode, he's not going to find Blackbeard's gold. He's not going to find Bigfoot. He's not going to find the UFO that they're looking for, but he is entertaining and keeps you captivated for 42 minutes.
Mhm.
That's gold, right? So a lot of people are confused when they think there's so much happening in investigations, but they have to remember that show could have been filming for 3 days. And then they put 42 minutes together to look like one nonstop investigation.
Mm-hmm.
I can also tell when teams haven't really practiced on the ground. I can tell by the way they do EVP sessions. Very seasoned investigators know that we have to wait. You got to give them time to talk. The way we're talking with each other right now does not work on that distance. Too fast.
Yeah.
Or get responses later that are delayed, right? And they don't understand that. But you know the ones that watch TV are the ones like, what's your favorite color? Do you know what day it is? Do you like me? They talk that fast because when television edits it, it makes it look like it's quick, but they're actually waiting. And we all know that is the most inappropriate EVP session. Like they may take time to answer that first question, and you're on your 21st question, then they answer that, and you're like, oh wow, that doesn't make any sense though. But you're talking to us. You're not giving them any time. They have to build that energy up to do it.
Yeah.
So
that is one thing I heard with the paranormal shows is it looks like it's one night, but it's really like it could be a few days, could be a week, and they just put it all together to make it look like the one night.
I've had friends that have worked on production for Ghost Adventures. I'm just using them as an example. All the shows are the same. That Ghost Adventures episodes are filmed over a course of 3 days. But to make most, especially in the beginning episodes, it was one night, right? They were filming for 3 nights, and you just for continuity, you wear the same outfits, the same stuff, and darkness is very easy for continuity. You know what I mean? Like you just do it the next night at the same time.
Yeah, we've had some TV shows want to come out here to Japan, but like we were talking earlier, the paranormal is not very accepted here, but also a lot of the criteria for shows to come out here is they want the actual history in black and white. Like they want the actual records. We don't keep those here. You can't go to the library and research a location. You can't go, there is no vital records. It doesn't exist. Because Irene was saying that, she wanted to look up a place where she lives, but unfortunately, there's no records of anything here.
Why are the records gone?
If they did, they squashed it or they shredded it because they know it's haunted. They don't want you to know that it's haunted.
Interesting. What was that comment that just popped up?
Well, if it's edited, it might have taken that long to cut it. They actively admit that on most TV production, it's TV.
Yeah.
Most of the people on the shows, when they're like on panels and stuff, will say that. I mean, it's interesting when the minute you pick up a camera, you've changed the game completely. Ghost hunting and just for ourselves is so much different than trying to film it, right? And it's true. There are some productions that will, tell you exactly how it works. I think Jason Hawes has some decent credibility still, and he explains, filming for TV and doing this is much different. They're just getting right to the point.
Yeah.
That's what it needs to be transparent like that, especially for younger viewers or new people that don't understand. It saves time, a lot of headaches.
Yeah. And it takes a lot of time to find a little piece of evidence, or it takes a lot of time just to hear something. And a lot of times you won't find it, or you will find it, depending on the energy of yourself and depending on the energy of the place and what it's known for, and what the spirits are like in that place. Depending on that energy, you don't know. It's like opening up a new box of Cracker Jacks. You just don't know, right?
No, that's very true, and it's really interesting what you said about someone's particular energy.
Yeah.
is my main tour guide at the Madison Seminary, Shelly. She's amazing. And she said after a while, she's been doing this now for like 6 years. And she's like, Adam, I'm getting to the point I can tell the teams that are going to get a lot of evidence and the teams that are not.
Yeah.
They carry their energy, you know, like, and you'd have to think, do the spirits want to talk to you? Do they want?
Yeah.
I tell the spirits all the time, this isn't puppetry. This is how we're saving the home. And you do not have to talk. You don't have to do that.
No.
But I think a lot of spirits do want to communicate. They want to tell their stories. But at the same time, you know, it doesn't matter if they want to not do that. I mean, that's so interesting of a theory in themselves. Like, why are the spirits lingering around? There's a lot of theories out there, right?
Yeah.
One, you know, obviously stone tape theory. I think that a lot of hauntings deal with the residual haunting. In stone tape theory, our energy is put into the environment, into the walls, into the wood, into the stone. And at a particular time, which for some reason we don't understand, it could be individuals' energy or just actual timing. Those disembodied voices are heard. You hear phantom footsteps, you know. But then you have intelligent haunting, and that's very interesting because, again, I'm like the paranormal bartender. I've heard everyone's theories and talks on it. And and it's interesting, all the people and what they think. Like, they have unfinished business, and it's like, really, you got to be pretty petty, or it's got to be a very serious situation to want to stick around. Maybe if you were, you know, murdered and you're sticking around to make sure that the person who did it is caught. I understand this from a very simplistic point of view. There's another comment that came in.
Yeah. TV is not going to air the entire amount of hours. They couldn't afford it. And like you said, investigation can be boring and it takes time. Yep.
And no, Josh was exactly right. When we film for Resident Undead, we film for 20 hours. We get there early at like 8 in the morning, and we don't leave till 4 in the morning. And the episodes are only 15 minutes to about an hour because I cycle it. I don't put stuff in that where nothing's happening. We're not. I mean, I could commentary like we're here for 2 hours and nothing happened. You know, those things happen. I keep it moving and trying to be as interesting and captivating as you can, showing stuff that's happening. That's the way production has to do it, you know. But you're right. If you were to show a real investigation, oh my god, that'd be so boring.
Like they'll be doing this, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting what you're saying about your tour guide, because there was a place that I used to investigate all the time. I bring other teams just to kind of see how they were before I joined them, or even when I was training someone. I'd always bring someone to this specific location. And I was telling people, like, when I first meet the team members, I can be like, okay, this is not going to be a good night. I already knew it before I went in it, just because it's the energy. Like, I could already tell they're not going to want to interact with this person because of their energy. A lot of times, all the time, I was actually right. There would be times where they'd be in a Pacific Ghost room and trying to talk to her. I'd eventually just be like, okay, you guys aren't having any luck. Try another area of the house. And as soon as they left, I walked in. The lady sprayed me in the face with her perfume, and you heard her say thank you. She was done. She was like, they got nothing, but she was just done. Like, this is my room. Okay, she was so annoyed. And by the time when they left her room, she was like, thank you.
Yeah.
I was like, I just started laughing because I'm like, yeah, I knew before they even went into this location, this was not going to be a very good night with them. So I broke off from them. That's why I got more evidence. Like, I could tell energy wise, it wasn't for them.
You're exactly right. How many people I talk to and how many teams they go through, it's very unlikely the first group of people you meet and do this with, you're going to stay with them. You know, it's unlikely. And you do have to find the right chemistry. The people I film with, Rebecca, Chris, Addie, Eric, and Dave, I've known these guys for years. So that creates good chemistry on camera. I think a lot of TV shows fail because what they fail to recognize is the character development. Like, you want to invest in who you're watching, right?
Yeah.
And they just put a bunch of people together that don't really know each other. And they're like, oh, but you want ghost hunt? You all ghost hunt. They don't realize that's like putting a lot of a lot of betas in one fishbowl, right? And then let's see how that plays out. And a lot of those shows fail. You know, one show that it looks like from the details I'm getting from Intel, there was a show called Ghost Loop. Basically stole my concept, but I heard that they imploded. Of course, they come up with their own official, like, we just had to stop whatever, but it's because they all had different agreements and they didn't like how each other were working, and that's catastrophic. Like, you're supposed to work together on a common goal, and you can't even do that. Which is funny with Paranormal Unity. It's that this comes back to politics. Mm-hmm. Human nature. There will always be competition. There will always. It is very hard to create a unified front, especially when you're mixing some kind of reward for entertainment in it. Like, people want to make paychecks off this. You know, that's what is their main goal. I can tell you, the generation of maybe. Sorry about that. Someone tried to call. The generation of millennials and things like that they thought the goal was to get a TV show, right? And they're going to get this payday. But there is a way to sustain it without selling out, you know, and that's, I mean, through YouTube and marketing and things like that, you know, just having advertisements. And I think a lot do that. But at the same time, look at people like Speed, who I was dealing with, 20-some million subscribers. How do you get 20 million subscribers? It's not doing the straight and narrow, I'll tell you that. So.
No, I had someone a few years ago. They were interested. I didn't even want more information because they were interested in me being on the show they were starting. But the reason why I didn't want to do it was because it was one of those public investigations, or one of those ones where I was being with the team, kind of testing them, and they had someone they were kind of seeing out. They didn't make it, but the reason why they wanted me was because the person they wanted was wanted to break break all the rules that the owner had set. And I'm one of those. The owner has the rules for a reason, and especially when they have cameras watching. I'm like, I don't want to get banned because of your dumbass. So we end up fighting because he's like, I'm going to do this anyways. It's going to make great video. I'm like, he has the rules in writing. Let's not be breaking these rules, because unfortunately, if you start doing stupid stuff, you get it all banned. I want to be able to come back.
Mm-hmm. I think
so we started arguing and yelling at each other, and that's when they were like, I like you for that. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to be in a show if I have to be the one who's yelling at people to not break rules, to do stupid shit. I don't want to do that.
And that's to get viewers. What if people want to watch, right?
Yeah.
He's thinking that, at least, but that show's not going to last very long, clearly, right?
Yeah, that's also what I tell people. I'm like, be careful who you investigate with, because I know you're thinking, well, what they do that doesn't have anything to do with me. And I'm like, there's whole groups banned from one place because of one jackass breaking the rules. I'm like, I don't want that. I want the owner to let me come back. I don't want to make, no, you're with this group, they broke the rules, you can't come back.
Yes. No, and I always tell people, be very careful who you even do collaborations with. You have to remember who you rub shoulders with. With the show I put together, we don't do collaborations. Like, very few, because I'm more afraid of, like, that person after they work with us. I don't know what they're going to do, you know? So I only trust a certain circle of friends to film with me. And it's really just because, like, the things we're learning about the paranormal, like, people are messed up. They're really messed up. And that's just human nature. It's not just the paranormal, but, like, you got to be careful who you affiliate with.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of people out there that has a lot of baggage too. So they come with baggage. And I always tell them, okay, leave your baggage at the door. I don't like it. I don't want it in here. If you do that, you're not coming in. That's it, period. And that's what the way they should be.
And I think you're right. Let's see here. Yeah. Joshua's right. Dude, I
Yeah,
don't know who Joshua is, but he is a straight shooter.
Mhm.
yeah.
He is speaking. He's spitting facts right now.
Actually, we're Joshua and I are clairvoyants. We talk to each other all the time, and if I need help, we both brainstorm together and we come up with an answer together. So that's what we do all the time. Sorry about that. Earlier, I was getting interference. Like they're kicking me out of the podcast all the time. That's why I closed the window. Like, okay, I'm done. Leave it.
Um,
I do that all the time.
I there were two things I was going to touch on. I can touch on Joshua's comment. The TikTok generation, they're here now. They're here. I call it Gen Z. I like a lot of Gen Z. I really do. I like the fresh new ideas.
Mhm.
That there's a lot of TikTokers out there that when they do their lives, I don't understand what I'm watching. I don't. Here, let me give you an example. What I see, guys. I think there's a demon here. We got a demon saying something on the obelisk. Blah blah blah. Hey, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. Don't forget to click the screen. I'm like, what am I watching? And then they go right back into it. Bro, I'm still scared though. I'm still scared. Hey, chat, are you still here, fam? Fam, fam. Like, what am I? What the shit is this stuff? And it's, I don't know, man. It's some of
I
the.
don't watch American TikTokers. Only watch the Japanese TikTokers, and some places they go into are really scary.
Mhm.
Um, some of them are just a little bit too creepy for me, so I have to. Okay, I'm not watching this one. I go to the next one, and I go to the ones that I feel safe around.
Mhm.
But a lot of them go to certain places that are really frightening, and yeah, okay, I'm gonna that one because they go to places that people don't know of,
Mhm.
and the places that don't know of can be good or bad depending on how you look at it. Right?
Mhm.
It's a little bit different. That's why I watch the Japanese TikTokers instead, and they like to remain anonymous, and that's why they're there for that reason. And I get it,
You were
Yeah,
saying wear masks.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Because don't want they don't want to get canned from the group, from their work or whatever. They have employment and they don't want to lose their job because what they do, right? And some do see spirits, some are empaths, and it's just it's like what they like doing, but they don't want to get hurt from what they're doing. And it's really sad because everything around here has a lot to do with spirits, and you can call them ghosts or whatever, entities or whatever, but we appease them so that they won't come after us. But they don't want them to bother you, and you don't want them to bother them. That's why you just, okay, you stay on this side, and I'll stay on this side, okay? I'm gonna give you everything that you want, but don't come after me. That's how they act here.
This is interesting. I've never had a chance to speak with anyone in Japan about the paranormal, so I'm very intrigued. I do apologize for the reverse interrogation of this.
Oh, it's fine.
I know
Oh,
this
that's
is great because this is new for me as far as
Mhm.
hmm
my brain is very intrigued right now. So I I'm going to ask some questions, as in like, why do you believe spirits are still lingering here on the other side?
this is a really old country, okay?
Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot of good things, a lot of nasty things, and a lot of bad stuff that happened, right? They don't want, they think history is important, but they don't want the bad stuff to come out because there's a lot of really bad stuff that came out a long time ago. On Amanda's side, where she lives, not,
I live in Nagasaki, which is the very bottom of Japan.
yeah, and not
Irene
a
Irene
lot of,
lives in Tokyo, so that's why you always say my area is more country, more small town, more elderly compared to Irene, who's in Tokyo, which is obviously a huge city.
Yeah. And her side has a lot of people died for no reason. People died because they believed in something. For example, on her side, you have 24 Christians who were crucified because they believe in Jesus Christ. Because the Spanish and the Portuguese ship went to Nagasaki first, long time ago, when the samurai were still wandering the earth. And you believe in God, you will die like God. You will die like Jesus Christ. So you will be crucified to the cross alive. And that's how they died.
Hmm.
You have the Nagasaki atomic bomb. You have the Hiroshima atomic bomb, which is not too far where she is compared to where I live. I have the suicide part of Japan. And they had battles here, and they had all kinds of bloodshed on certain fields. And they had a lot of the samurai warriors committed suicide in certain places on this side. And you'll find a lot of beheadings and stuff like that. And yeah, it was really crazy. It's you don't want to talk about. They don't want to talk about it, right?
Mhm.
Or they don't want anybody going there because they say, "Oh, the cave is the rocks will be falling off the cave." But no, it's haunted. That's why you don't want anybody going there. So they build a huge cave. Said, "Okay, you can't enter it." So we can't investigate it, right? So it's just crazy. There's a lot of places that I know that we could go to, but are not going to be listed anywhere because you have to know from a word of mouth.
Yeah, I was gonna
We'll
say
get
everything's word of mouth here in Japan.
yeah,
Hmm.
and the elders will help you talk about. Or my husband knows of certain places when he was a child, and he lived on the same island as Amanda does when he was a child. He grew up on that same island, so he knows a lot of places too. He said, "Oh yeah, I could take you there." He'll say that. You want to go? Let's go.
There's a
And
town near where I live that her husband also knows about it called the Inunaki Village or Howling Dog Village. Basically, if you've ever seen the movie Wrong Turn,
Mm-hmm.
it's a town just like that they had in the woods that was here in the woods. Basically, about a bunch of Japanese outlaws said, "I don't want to live under Japanese rule," so they built a town out in the mountains in the forest. The sign is still there if you go see it. There's a sign that says, "Past this point, Japanese law does not exist." So
yeah,
anything and everything went. It's abandoned now.
yeah,
Because
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people, because I'll say, "Yeah, maybe when you're here, we'll go see it." A lot of people assume I'm taking them to an active town. I'm like, no, it's abandoned now.
yeah. My husband knew about that when he was growing up as a child.
Does this area currently have Japanese rule, like law?
It's haunted. It's there's nothing there anymore. They
Who has
have
fiction?
and they have a tunnel that goes to that town too that was blocked off also. That's also haunted too.
Because there's a lot of murders that happened in this
Yeah,
tunnel. So it's supposed to be
yeah.
one of the most haunted tunnels in Japan too. Is the Inunaki
You
tunnel, and
can get
it's
the tunnel.
supposed to be so scary. This tunnel is
Hmm.
supposed to be so scary. It has influenced some horror movies and TV shows and even some horror games.
Yeah,
That's
I
how
mean
haunted it's supposed to be.
it's
Yeah.
so bad. You can get vertigo going in the tunnel.
Hmm. What is the belief in Japan about spirits and staying? Why they're still sticking around? I guess, as we say in the United States, like they're here for a while. Maybe they reincarnate. Maybe they go to a greater beyond. What is the belief in Japan?
So here in Japan, obviously, it's most of a Buddhist country. They believe that if you're depressed, or if you're sad, or you're just not happy in your life, you can commit suicide to be reincarnated to try again in the next life.
She'll
But
come
Irene
back.
can, yeah, and Irene can tell you, especially in her area. Unfortunately, that also leaves for a lot of suicidal ghosts that you just don't want to talk to.
So
Yeah.
so then what they're saying is the spirits that are still being able to communicate with are ones that have committed suicide or
Something else.
something
But
else.
there's one thing about suicide spirits. Okay, I have a rule. I lived in a suicide condominium, okay? They were telling me to kill myself, okay? To be with them. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. Either they make you sick, they kill you, or one or the other. It's like multiple choice. Pick your choice, right? You lose all your money, you become destitute. If you're married, you get divorced. They kill you, they make you sick, or they kill you. Multiple choice. Pick which one you want, right? And a lot of times, a lot of my friends died from a heart attack, one from brain cancer, who was very young. He was only 36 years old. How could you get brain cancer, right? Nah, it happened. They killed him. I know that. They just moved there for it wasn't even 5 months. He got sick and he died, and he was really healthy too. I've met him a couple times. I know him. Yeah, they killed him. Within 6 months, he died. He died in 6 months, and that was the end. And it's not too far from where I live. It's about 45 minutes by car. We can go there. Um, it's You gotta be careful with suicide spirits because they can be jealous, angry, vengeance, full of vengeance, or they can destroy you. So you have to be extremely careful who you communicate with. I don't communicate with all kinds of spirits. I can, I have the ability to, but I won't. Just because I'd rather not. I want to keep my health. I want to keep my safety. I want to keep my sanity. That's why. So you have to be extremely careful which ones you communicate with and which ones you absolutely should never communicate with. That's why you don't go into certain areas too in Japan. Also, it's like you're in today, you're dead tomorrow.
What kind of area, as an example, would be this?
Certain houses,
Mm-hmm.
certain properties, certain places that have um there's a there's a forest not too far away from here. You see, this area used to be part of the American military, okay, and that's not too far away from where I live. And so they used to have American housing there too. The housing still exists, but they sold the land to back to Japan. And yeah, that place is a part of it. My daughter knows about the place in the forest where they have certain prayers stuck to the walls, and meaning that they want to keep the spirit in, that you don't want to let it out. If you let it out, all hell breaks loose, right? That's another reason why they don't do it. That's another one. And the other one is my son's school. His high school. Yeah. There's a lady who it was a farmland long time ago before the war, just a little bit before the war, but then the war broke out. Her husband went to war. She had a daughter, illegitimate daughter. She thought the daughter was being a pain in the butt, and being a hindrance on the husband. So she threw the daughter down the well. She killed her. She was 14 years old. And they put a lid on it. They put prayers on the lid. And the property got sold after the old lady died. And they made a school on it, right? But they kept the well, and the well is right in the middle of the gymnasium. And they opened up the well. Guess what? You know who haunts the school? She haunts the school. I've caught her a couple times, and I said, "You can't." this opening ceremony of the school, right? While the new students come in, this guy was doing this. He was sitting in a chair doing this, and he was sitting right in the middle where the well was. He was doing this, all the stuff wrapped around his, those crystals wrapped around his arm. He was doing this. He was praying, 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 hope to God nothing happens to him. And I said, "Hey, okay, you can't do this. Okay, you gotta leave. Look at this guy. You're scaring the shit out of him. Okay, stop doing that." He said, "She said, why? I'm having fun." I said, "No, you're not. I'm gonna get rid of you. No, either or. Pick your choice." And she said, "Okay, I'll leave." But yeah, he ran out of that school. It's a matter of 15 seconds after the ceremony was over. Like he hopped on his bicycle and he just zoomed right out of school. I was gonna say, "Hey, I know what you're going through. I can feel it. I can see it." But he didn't want, he didn't want anything to do with it. So I said, "Oh, poor guy, you know." But yeah, I mean, I know. I've been to that school. That school's right in the middle heart of Tokyo. You can see Tokyo Tower from that school.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's a lot of schools are haunted in Japan
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of students who had trouble were very depressed, jumped off the school uh, um, roof, so they killed themselves.
Is this
Yeah.
common?
Hmm?
Is it common? Does that happen a lot?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. You jump in front of a train, you can kill yourself that way. You can jump in front of a bullet train, you can kill yourself that way too. That's a lot of it on this side of Japan, on my side. So yeah, you get those kind of spirits here. That's why I'm very careful about what I do and where I go, because you don't go looking for trouble. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. It could be. See, I knew about the suicide rates. Logan Paul had done something very, very stupid a while back. He went into a suicide forest out there in Japan
Yeah.
and filmed it. And Logan Paul's just, he doesn't get a pass. He's just really stupid. What he distasteful.
Yeah.
But that did shed light to it, that we knew. I mean, I had heard stories over here that this kind of place existed over there, but no one, at least that I knew of, had ever gone inside of it. There have been talks of it. But it seems to be a cultural thing that I'm not sure how to explain it. It seems like the individuals there are harder on themselves, or is it just depression? Is it an honor kind of thing, or why is this happening at a higher rate?
Mostly depression, mostly, and some ran out of money. Some don't want to tell their families what happened to their jobs or whatever, so they go there to find peace and get rid of their pain. I could take you there if you come. We'll go. There's a different way of doing things. The way that I see, you do it my way or you're out. I'll put you on the next plane. That's the way that I look at it. I do it differently to help the spirits move on by not crossing them over, but by giving them gifts like food, wine, water. That's how you please the spirits. You don't mess with them, right? You don't do something stupid. You don't go in the forest, because once you go in there, yeah, there's no guarantee if you're gonna come out, right? So that's what you do. And Amanda knows, right?
I will
And
say though that not the whole entire suicide forest is haunted.
no,
Because Irene can tell you the suicide forest, the bad part of it, it's weird. You don't see any insects, you don't see any snakes, you don't hear any birds chirping.
no,
Trees will grow in weird angles. Scientists don't even know why. But then
yeah,
there's also another part of Japan that I've seen videos of, because sometimes all of those comes up in my feed too from the locals. Like the other part of it daily, because they said it's the exact opposite, where it's beautiful, it's serene, it's peaceful.
hmm, you could take hiking tours up the mountain, up
Yeah,
the up, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but they also say in these videos, you don't go down that path because going down that path, you're heading towards the bad part of this forest.
yeah. And guess what? That volcano is haunted. Okay,
Mount
there's a
Fuji.
yeah, Mount Fuji's very haunted. There's a lot of deaths around that area. There's a lot of scientists who died climbing the mountain, measuring the volcanic action in the middle of the core of the volcano. Yeah, it. My mother said that volcano is very haunted and it's charged, and they have 5 lakes underneath the volcano. Man, I went to one of them. Yeah, the lake is black. The trees have no flowers on it. There's no flowers, no nothing. It's just like desolate. It's a great scene of a haunted show that you can create from it, right? So yeah, it's one of those places where you've been there once, you don't want to go back. Like you
Yeah.
don't want to go afterwards. It's just nope. I'm not going. But Suicide Forest and that whole area going up to that on the road. If you're driving, you go. The end is Mount Fuji. Going up to it is all these haunted places or all these haunted. You got the Samurai Cemetery, you got the Shogun Cemetery, you got all these places that they're on the shrines, and you got all these different areas going up to, and it's all haunted, right? The roads are haunted. It's just the places that are there are all haunted, and it's the same road when you drive. It's really weird because they're all located in that one block, 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 all the way up there. And it's so weird. We got a shogun that had probably his head cut off, and then they don't know where the rest of the body went, so they buried the head. And the head is haunted, right? Of course. Yeah, he comes out, he talks, and he'll talk to you. You can talk to him. Like, um, there is a show in Japan that has talked about the most important samurai, and afterwards they show where his tomb is. Man, his tomb is really busy. Like you could hear him saying, "Right, that tomb is haunted, right?" And they go, "Holy cow!" And I was watching the show, and I could hear him saying all kinds of stuff. I go, "Okay, yeah, I got it." That's another road trip, right? Yeah. But once they're in the tomb, they don't really come out and attack you. It's just the places probably where he's killed will come out, right? Because they got a lot of residual energy all over the place in Japan.
You had mentioned crossing over spirits. I think,
Mhm.
right? Where where is the, maybe this is a personal belief or that, what, not necessarily crossing over, because you said you were, said it a certain way, like what is the beyond past that? Is that like, what is the belief? Is it heaven, or is it just a greater beyond, a collective of energy?
Wherever they find peace, it's the I'm both Catholic and I'm also Buddhist, right? I'm also Catholic and Buddhist, right? So I do I do both. Okay, whichever one that you want, I'll pick. You pick for me, and I'll do for you, right?
I
So
I was raised Roman Catholic too. I
yeah,
think, but I'm
me
a
too.
big believer in reincarnation.
Yeah, yeah.
The second, or it's the law of conservation, that we cannot create or destroy energy, right? It just has to transfer.
Yeah.
And even from a scientific explanation, I think that it really is a smoking gun of, you have these cases of children coming back with these grandiose stories of a past life.
Yeah.
There,
Yeah.
the professor Ian Stevenson, he had a PhD, and he was doing a lot of research on reincarnation. And
Mhm.
what he did, though, is he didn't want to go to the first world. He wanted to go to the third world, because in the first world, the children could be front loaded by television and things like that. And it could be their imagination of something. but he was visiting third world countries, and it may have been somewhere in Africa, where there were some very, very wild stories from children that have no interaction with the outside world, talking about, actually one may have been from World War II, talking about, I remember the case, it was he said he was in a bird very high and would shoot fire, and there were other birds in the sky, and they were shooting fire at him. His bird got taken down by another bird, and he said he tried to get out of the bird. Now, this is again trying to explain it through what he understands, right?
Right.
He said he was trying to kick at the top of the bird, which to me sounds like he died in the cockpit and couldn't get the cockpit to open up. And what he drew, they asked him to draw the other bird, and he drew a Japanese flag. So it may have been back from World War II, fighter pilots and stuff like that. It's a very interesting case. There's no way this child would have known this. There was no outside. It was one of those very, very remote communities.
Yeah.
So I absolutely believe. I don't understand what the end game is, and that's why I'm so intrigued with this research. I mean, there's days I think it's a simulation, that this all could be some. But, and I think Joshua posted something about religion and that being I can't remember what he wrote. It was, yeah, you try to cross them over no matter the religion. Yes. So
a lot of times I see spirits in heaven in a garden or under a tree. They're in a serene place where there's a lake, there's a pond, there's a beautiful running river. They're in a flower garden. That's where I see them.
So it comes back to your statement of whatever gives them peace. Heaven could be an interpretation of anything they want it to be.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I've heard this before, yes.
And some of them some of them pick flowers in the garden, some of them sit under a tree, watch the sunlight from the tree, and sunbathing under the tree. I get that too. I see that too. It's really weird because I can see all kinds of weird things, but I also get the parts that I don't want to see, right? I get murders, I get abductions, I get everything else on top of it, and they're mostly children, right? I get rape victims too, children. I get everything that I don't want to see. And coming from that area, it's like, I don't want to do this job anymore. I just don't want to do it. I go to bed and say, but I had it, I'm done. But then I wake up the next morning, okay, back to it again. Like, it's like, yeah. I mean, there's certain things that I call it a gift, but it's a curse, and I don't want to do it again. I hate it. I really do. Sometimes I really hate it. I hate doing this, and it's
very interesting. I'm a supporter of it. I know that the gifted are among us, and now has it always been in your family line?
My mother, all my children have it. My daughter doesn't want to have anything to do with it, but my two sons do. Yeah, we're all spooky people. We're all spooky people in this family. My husband's the only one that says, that scares me. I said, why? And he goes, because what you do is scary. I said, nah, it's only scary if you think about it the other way. That's all. But he says, well, why don't you tell that person? Are you kidding? There are rules to what we do, and there are rules to how much we tell, and there's rules to how much we never tell, and the rules that we don't tell a damn thing about it. That's the way it is. It comes with a lot of responsibility, and you just don't go there.
What do you think the purpose of life is? And this, you have obviously a Catholic background, a Buddhist background, because that's what the paranormal intrigued me. Like, what is the end game? What is the point of all of this? Is it to keep learning lessons, coming back? Is it a constant game of reincarnation? Is it never ending? What do you believe is happening here?
You
That is
see,
that is one theory that I heard was if you didn't learn a certain lesson in this lifetime, you're gonna learn it the next. Or
hmm
also, if karma doesn't hit you this lifetime, it's gonna hit you the next. Like, for example, a lot of people say, like, let's say you were a boss, you were mean to this one employee, mistreating them, fired them, and they end up on bad times because of you. Your next lifetime is gonna be reversed.
yeah. Or you can come back as a cow or as a steer and be slaughtered and eaten. Okay, that's another one that we do. That's another belief that we believe also. But then, you see, I've been reincarnated so many times you wouldn't believe it. I know that. Because I got deja vu at certain places. I've already been there. I haven't been there in my life, but I know I've seen it before. So the another one is that you'll come back over and over again until you get it right.
What happens after we get it right?
Then we can rest.
And rest would be
We don't have to come back over and over again. Yeah.
what? It's interesting. I ask these questions because I struggle with them all the time.
Mhm.
What it almost sounds like a game, but what's the purpose of the game? What is the point of enlightenment?
Some people believe that this life of ours is just a VR game that some
Right.
aliens are playing. I can almost see that.
Well, not even the simulation. Yeah, no, it's weird sometimes. It's like, yeah, or I've heard the theory that all of us are this very advanced godlike creature that wanted to experience everything at once, and that's why they say that God is in everybody. We've been split off into multiple consciousnesses of all these different degrees to experience all of it. There's a lot of theories because I don't know anymore. I mean, I grew up Roman Catholic, but I've always had the science brain to question. I want answers, so
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure I'll find them. It's all going to be interesting.
Yeah. And just another thing is that we all are here to learn, but there's a lot of part of it that we'll never learn, but we have to wait and see till it can come and we're all ready to learn, so we'll be able to find out the answer to everyone's questions, right?
I find it interesting. It's like it is like this odd social experiment. If you really think of human nature across the world, the different opinions, the different beliefs, with one goal of trying to understand each other, it's so difficult.
Yeah.
Most challenging. I mean, I love listening to everybody's opinions and ideas and theories and beliefs. It's so intriguing. And that's why I got into the paranormal. It's like I wanted more answers. You have to experience these things for yourself to really get involved. It's like the reasons why I bought the properties. I wanted to protect this field of research. It was a task. I mean, these are very large structures, but it allows us to have a nice place to conduct this research.
I think you brought back with you from the property a little old lady and a little child. You just married. You brought back with you a little old lady and a little child from the property. You know that, right?
I did not, but it's funny. I had a text come in earlier about a woman in a gown. That's so funny. That's from a psychic I know that actually during the show the text came in. Something about a lady in a gown. Yeah.
She has a light blue gown. And there's a little child wearing pajamas. And yeah, the old lady sometimes wear pajamas too. I don't know. I think she was a patient.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm tilting my head because I'm talking to it right now. It talks to me, right?
I'm only about 300 feet from the infirmary. I'm in the White House, which was the old superintendent's house.
Mm-hmm.
Window to my right. Well, it's mirrored differently in this, but the direction I'm looking, there's 300 feet is the old infirmary. I was working all day inside there, and I don't have the gift, but there are times I feel things. I get chills and
has the ability to use their. Everyone has the ability to have the gifts. Okay.
yes.
It depends on if you use it or not, and how you make it better so you can feel things and see things. It's just improving on your gifts. Okay. That red part in the room behind you, that's where they're standing. They're all standing there in line like this. And they're all watching me while you're talking to me behind you. It's just a thing that I see. It scares a lot of people. They said, "Oh, you're kidding, right?" You go, "Nope." They go,
Oh no.
"Oh, please don't tell me. Oh, please don't tell me. Please tell to leave. I can't tell to leave. Are you kidding? I can't do that. No way." It's just something that I like. Sometimes I can't help myself, right?
Well,
I can't.
I do believe. I've worked with many senses before. The gift is very real. Do you know? Are they trying to tell you anything?
What one of them says, well, the old lady says, "You know what? I was like you. I could see things. I was put here because I could see things. I didn't like it. People thought I was nuts. People thought I was crazy. People thought I was nuts. People thought I was crazy. But I'm not. But I wasn't. And back then, they didn't understand this area of what we're talking about here. They weren't open to it. So that's what she said to me.
You just gave me chills. We talk about that all the time. They were taking mentally ill patients. I said mentally ill. I don't think there was anything wrong with these women or men. They just didn't understand the ability they had, and they thought they were hearing things.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wonder, like, especially people that do have schizophrenia or things like that, and they're put into institutions like this, are they just very, very gifted and weren't able to control it?
Some of them were very gifted. I have a friend who's a paranormal investigator. His daughter committed suicide. She was pregnant. She couldn't take her medication because she got pregnant. I know she had a gift, but nobody really listened to her, and she didn't know how to, put it in perspective. And nobody helped her, and so she killed herself. And eventually her baby died too, because she couldn't get on her medication. Because everyone said, "You're nuts." She wasn't nuts. She wasn't at all.
It's sad.
She,
Common
she
things happen.
stuff. Her father is a paranormal investigator. I don't think she had energy to tell him that she could see things. He's a very good friend of mine too. Yeah. He cries all the time and goes to her grave all the time because she killed herself. They said she was schizoid, but I don't think she was schizoid. I don't think so. I know she wasn't. And she was pumped with a lot of drugs, right?
And that was to suppress the gift?
That was to suppress her thinking that she had paranoid schizophrenia, but she did. She wasn't. No way, because I knew she wasn't. Don't ask me how I know. I just know.
Interesting. It's sad. It gives me chills when you tell me that, because our house psychic here, Christopher Lee Jensen, you guys should get him on the show to talk. This man, incredible. I was drawn to him when I first met him over here, and he has said he believes there were women here at this infirmary that had the gift and were misunderstood.
Yeah.
It gave me chills when he said that. Like, oh my God.
We've often said that about a lot of the insane asylums. Was
Hmm?
a lot of the people, were they rightfully locked up or were they not? Like people with gifts, people did not understand. People to today still don't understand them. Like here in Japan, if Irene let it public that what she does, she'd be locked in one.
Yeah, I'd be in a loony bin
Yeah.
if
So we
told.
often wonder, with the people, especially back then, with
Mm.
even less understanding, a lot of people probably locked up that had a gift who was not insane.
Mm-hmm.
But a
Imagine
lot of
if you're
people,
imagine if you're a child and you have the gift long time ago. Imagine what they would do to you.
Mm-hmm.
You're crazy. You belong in here. I'm gonna put you here until you get better. They probably had lobotomies. They probably had shock treatment. They probably had everything to their done to them. They probably experimented on them too and gave them a whole bunch of drugs. You know what? That's how they died. But they were psychic. They had abilities. They could see things. My son was the same thing. He had his abilities when he was really young, and he didn't like it. He hated it. As a matter of fact, he hated it. Now he works in a, a retirement home for people who are waiting to die. They're like on their deathbed waiting to die. That's where he works now. He likes his job, right? But yeah, I mean, he kind of helps himself move forward, whatever he's doing. Um, it's just it's just something that you have to, I don't know, you have to find peace one way or another, right, with what you have. And that's his way of creating peace for himself. But yeah, it's the most difficult thing when you're a child and you have the gift and they throw you in an insane asylum because they think you're nuts. And you're
But it's weird how people react. Look at the Salem witch trials and how
yeah,
mob mentality. Mob
yeah,
mentality is very scary.
yeah. And in Japan, um, there's gonna be a disclaimer on this show. If you don't want to hear what I'm gonna say, please close this show. Please don't watch it because I'm gonna say something very sensitive. Okay, just to tell everybody before I say anything. Okay, witches were female. Were called witches in Japan. Okay, because if you couldn't afford to have a doctor come to you if you're not well, they would be they women would make these herbs. They crush them up and they make tea out of them or whatever, and they give it to the people who were feeling well. Okay, and if the samurai caught you doing that, they'd take you and they put you in front of the shogun. That would be the judge in this case, and you'd be okay, treason. They take you, put you in a place in public view, tie you up, and light a fire to you. They burn the hell out of you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just you; it's your children who have the same thing. Your mother, your children would be also burnt. They'd be killed the same way. The reason why is that they don't. If you kill my mom, I'm gonna come after you, and I'm gonna kill you. They don't want that happening. So they killed the children, the next offspring. The only person who would be spared would be the husband because he'd be too friggin' scared to kill anybody, right?
Possibly.
So the mother and they killed the children. So that's what happened in Japan. They don't talk about it. There's no place that's written, but I know, right? They did that
I
all over.
think if you took this man's entire family from him, he has nothing to lose.
No, no.
Mm.
So
they
that's
did
what
the
happened.
same. They
Yeah,
did the same thing here with any anyone who'd go against the emperor or try and take over and fight him. They'd
yeah,
kill that samurai and his whole entire family and his offsprings for that
yeah,
same reason, as they're afraid that they were going to seek vengeance or get revenge for their father, so they just went ahead and like, we're just gonna go ahead and end it. We're just go ahead and kill the
Your
whole
entire
family, including the children.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So nobody was safe.
Yeah.
And the emperor only ordained a man as a doctor, and he'd be wearing a black kimono, or he'd be wearing a dark blue kimono. He'd be noticed as a doctor, and he'd be given the same drugs. He'd be given the same herbal medicine as the witch would, right?
Mm-hmm. No, it's interesting, and it's like it's ruling with fear. These tactics. It's the same thing we see with like North Korea.
Yeah.
How to control entire population through fear, through manipulation, telling them that you can read their minds. When you.
But you understand, North Korea is kind of like different from everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
There are countries, but the president, or whatever you call it, he is God.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's around him, underneath him, are his servants. So he would be a demigod.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's why they have no religion, because he is the religion. He is the God, and everyone else is his servant. You work for the God, and that's why I have no understanding why people go there. You gotta be nuts. You gotta be absolutely in the head to go there. But yeah, it's, you're not looking at it through. I'm Asian, okay? I'm Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
I understand it because I live in this country, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But everyone else say, I want to go there. I want to teach religion. Are you crazy? You can be killed if you do that. Because the religion is the top guy. Kim Jong-un is a religion. He is the God. And you appease the God, right? That's getting to something that people will never understand, right?
Yeah.
That's why you don't go there. You don't mess around in that country. You don't say anything stupid. You don't do anything dumb. Because you're an idiot if you do, right? But that's what it is. And in China, they hide their religion. Some of them are Taoist.
Mm-hmm.
They believe in Buddha. That's why they're fighting. China and Tibet are fighting all the time, because Tibet is mostly Buddhism, and well, they want to change everybody to them, but it's not happening. We know that. It's, that's why there's constant fighting over there. We know that. Yeah, we see it all the time, and yeah, there's nothing you can do about it, right? It's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't try to change it, right?
Yeah.
You don't bring Christian
It
to
would
police.
2 generations at least to reverse the damage, the psychological damage, the control. It'd be ugly.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't dare try to do it anyway. That's right, because
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna be absolutely nuts to try to bring your religion to them.
Yeah.
Like, because to Japan was the same way. They crucified all the Christians and the priest. There are 24 Christians, 24, and the 3 priests. They crucified them.
Mm-hmm.
They killed them all. And there's another place where I'm at is going in the next week is Kyoto. They have a big Catholic church there too. They did the same thing. They crucified them in the mountain. Mind you, that mountain is extremely haunted.
Almost everywhere in Japan is extremely haunted.
Yeah, that place is extremely haunted. They've got signs up there: "Do not enter." But you can go in there, right? And that place, Amanda, is really right next to the shrine.
Which
And
one?
the castle in Kyoto is not where the mountain in Kyoto where they crucified the Christians. It's all in the same area. Yeah.
Well,
And
Japan's a very old country. I mean, there's so much history there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the people said, well, we're gonna put statues of Mother Mary and we're gonna put statues of Jesus Christ there. Guess what? This is statues bleeds. They have dogma coming up. They're bleeding from their eyes. They are bleeding from their hands, palm of their hands. They got blood all over the place on the statues.
Okay. Damn.
Yeah, let's go, right? My husband knows where it is too. He goes, "Oh, I know where it is." I go, "We should go." He goes, "Yeah, let's go." Like, yeah. Yeah. And it's really haunted too because the people who were killed still have the spirits there. I think it's residual energy. What happened from a long time ago? Like we're talking the Edo era when samurai and the shogun was still running around.
And that's interesting when you talk about residual energy. We've been talking about this, that, can you communicate with residual energy? And
Of course.
we've leaned towards this. Because most people think residual is just an imprint, but like it can tell you things,
And they can come too. They can show their face to you. Talk about residual energy. Amanda, she can go out the front door. She can see anything. They'll come up. They say, "I can see you. You can see me. So what are you gonna do about it?" Right? Where she is, yeah. She goes, takes her dog for a walk. She goes, and she messages me, "Hey, I just saw something." I
Well, the
said,
first
"What?"
time I saw one, it was just standing there staring at me, like, "Yeah, I'm here." And at first I was thinking, am I losing it? Because they're just
Mhm.
standing there, so proud. I'm like, I'm not used to them. They're just standing out there.
Yeah.
What was standing out there?
It was a shadow figure, and I'm not used to shadow figures. Like, yeah, I'm here. What are you gonna do? I'm watching you right over here. But I was
Yeah.
walking my dog, and my dog, she was acting like she saw it because she just turned 2 at the time, so she was very much a puppy, where she thinks everyone is here to want to play with her and pet her. So she was over there jumping towards it, wanting to go and investigate the new person. I'm like, okay, my dog sees this person, so it's there.
Yeah. She called me up after she goes, "Help!" And I go, "What?" And-
I've only seen one shadow person that didn't seem to be afraid.
yeah.
Oh, they're not afraid here.
Right. Weird. Like here we have they do the bobbing and the peeping and all that stuff. But I was at a one of these hospitals out in Tennessee, Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. That's the first time I've ever seen a shadow person into the hallway just standing there, like fully aware that we could see it and not take it's taking its good old time to move.
Yeah.
I don't expect to see that again. I hope I could. That's really was very interesting. But that's what you were dealing with outside. You saw this thing just standing there.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
standing there upright. It's not the first time I've seen one because there would be times where I'd hear my dog bark and go run. We'll be in a bedroom, and then she'll go barking in the kitchen, and I'll go up to see what she's barking at. And there's a shadow figure. Like, yep, I just want to let you know I'm here. I can enter your house. Bye, and leave. And I'm just like, okay.
She has a particular portal in her house where they come and go. One's in the balcony, one is near the hallway of her house. And I gotta talk to her because we gotta close it. I gotta close it. Meaning I gotta close it. Okay.
Here's a interesting question for you guys. Portals come up a lot. We talk about that. Are the portals already there, or did we create the portals?
Some of them
Irene has like
create.
5 for her house.
Some of them we create. They just seen them. They'll come back over and over again because I know when. Aha! You could see me. Okay, I'm gonna come back over and over again and bug you. Right. Some of them were there a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing about it. And some of them, even if you cross them over, they'll come back. They have the ability to come back, right? So yeah, you can. People say you can get rid of them 100%. No, you can't.
No, they can find a way to reopen.
Nah. And
I agree.
sometimes you have to say, I'm not gonna live here anymore. Bye bye, and just pack up and bail. Right? It depends on the property. It depends on the housing. It depends on whatever was there. It depends on what happened in the house, what happened on the property. There's a whole slew of factors that we talk about, right? That we can talk forever about it. And there's, it's just what I find is what I find. What was there, right?
Mhm.
And either you deal with it, or you say, okay, you can't do anything about it. You have to leave. That's what I usually say.
That's interesting.
And for that place, she can't leave. She has to stay there. Unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, this it's her apartment's kind of old, and I get it, right? So
Yeah.
it was probably before she moved in, and a lot of places are like that here. You don't know what you're getting into. You don't know what you're renting. Yeah, you need a clairvoyant so you can rent a house or rent or buy a house or rent an apartment because if you don't know what you're getting into, right?
Why is it why is it so forbidden, the paranormal, like with the job? That that's so intriguing to me that you could lose a job over it. What is that, because of religion, or I've never heard of this before, losing your job over this kind of research.
I think it's more, I want to say it's fear.
Is it
Yeah,
fear?
yeah, yeah.
Just because it's funny, as I always tell people, a lot of the Japanese culture and traditions honor the dead.
Mhm.
However, when it comes to the paranormal, their way of dealing it is to basically ignore it and act like it's
Mm,
not there. They'll even
yeah,
board up other haunted places. Like you can't in the United States, you can contact someone like you, book an investigation. You can't do that here.
no,
People are like, well, you can still go to like a public park, but yeah, but I can't bring my equipment into a public park.
Mm.
Like the spirit boxes. I used to use the SB7. I can't use that over here. It's too loud. I can't go to a park and use that. It's gonna be too noticeable. Have you ever if you heard how loud SB7 is, you know what I'm talking about. They're loud.
yeah, yeah,
That's not. It's gonna freak people out.
Universal language theory. So like,
yeah.
um, you guys are both Irene, you obviously are bilingual. Amanda, you are equally bilingual, correct?
I know a little bit, not as much obviously as like Irene is fluent, so I can't
Yeah.
say I'm.
So if you were investigating in Japan, the theory would be that whatever your default language, you could communicate with the dead through that language. Have you heard of that, the universal language theory?
I have
Uh,
heard of when you pass, you somehow kind of learn or
Right.
know other languages.
yeah.
Maybe not all languages, but you know, like some other languages.
Is it
It's spirits do have an ability to talk to you whatever language that you have that you can speak in. Yeah,
I find that fascinating, but I know it's a shame that you can't really investigate. Uh,
Yeah.
we're going in October. If Amanda can come up here, right? We're
Right.
going in October. I hope to. We have a couple friends who are coming up in October from the States, and we're gonna go on a road trip and take a plane to Amanda's area and stay in a B&B and investigate with Amanda and bring her along. And guess who's gonna be driving? My husband.
now, have you guys? Well, Amanda, I know Irene. Amanda, have you experienced things at your house?
I have.
Yeah.
I have. There's also been a time where, because we also have like the bay right behind us.
Hmm.
There'll be like it wasn't even dark yet. It was like in the evening where you know that part where the sunset is out. Where there's times I took my dog out. I'm like, wow, what a peaceful night. I'm not really seeing or feeling anything. Maybe I'll walk my dog a little bit longer. I decided against it because I heard a shriek of a girl in the water. It sounded human, but not as too loud to be human. So I took off. I'm like, yep, that is not something I want to deal with. And Irene was just like, yeah, it's just the spirit of a girl who who drowned.
Amanda, when did you move to Japan? Are you from the U.S. originally?
Yes, from the U.S. originally. I'm going to say about a year and a half ago is when I moved to Japan.
Where are you originally from here in the U.S.?
I was born in Michigan, but I lived in North Carolina for a little while before I moved over here.
I love North Carolina. I love the Carolinas.
Yeah.
Interesting. And you moved to Japan. Why?
Husband's in the military, so we have a military base behind us.
Interesting. No,
That's why
must
leave that
what's that?
stay there.
What's that, Irene?
That's why you can't leave the area. That's why you have to stay there.
Right. It makes a lot of sense. But was it a shock to you? I mean, did you investigate in the U.S. obviously while you were?
I did. I investigate a lot in the U.S. and I was so excited to get here because I assumed it'd be the exact same thing over here. Because I know in the UK, people are like, "Oh yeah, I had friends in the UK, but yeah, I booked this for tonight. I'm gonna go investigate." So then I got here, I'm like, "Cool, I'm gonna contact people. I'm gonna investigate here." And then I realized you can't do that here. And I'm like, "What?" I was so sad. And finally, I found Irene, and Irene's like, "Yeah, you can't do that really here."
Yeah.
I know you guys hit me within the first 5 minutes of a culture shock, and I'm like, "What are you talking about? You can't do this."
It's not that you can't. I've done it. I've been to the dome in Hiroshima after the atomic bomb.
Yeah, but it's once again, public place. I can't book a private place, which I
No.
prefer because I can't if I'm in a public place,
Yes.
it's hard for me to prove sound. How do you know that's not someone else in the park?
Exactly. There's too much contamination, things out of your control, factors. Oh my God, how did you guys even meet? In some kind of secret speakeasy? Like,
No, we met on social media because Irene was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna talk about myself." Like, no, I'm here. We can talk now. Paranormal.
this is mind blowing. I cannot.
Yeah, that's how we met was because of social media, and we're like, yeah, I mean, at least social media is bringing people together, but that's also why we started Spooky Japan podcast because we're just like, let's not only educate people about Japan, the culture, and the paranormal, but also give people a safe space if they, for some odd reason, wherever they are, or whatever's going on in their life, if you can't talk about the paranormal, let people know you're in a paranormal. We're here to say we're that safe space, and we get it.
Yeah.
We get it. We understand what you're going through.
Yeah.
So interesting. Like it's like bootlegging ghost hunting or bootlegging the paranormal.
You see, the spirits here are a little bit different. You have to be extremely careful where you go, and you don't poke the bear, as they call it, right in English. You have to be really vigilant. You have to be able to protect yourself 100% before you go out, right? Amanda and I have never met, so I don't know how much that surrounds her, but I know what I have. Okay, I can speak to anything evil. It doesn't bother me. I've seen everything. Okay, I've seen everything. I don't. Yeah, whatever. Like, to me, that's how I think about it. So I am pretty protected, but I don't go poking the bear that I don't want to have anything happening to me, right? Because it has happened to me twice. Okay, and it's no picnic. Let's put it that way. But I know what I can do. I know what I can't do. I know my limits too.
She's luckily been helping me with that gift because I have that gift, but it's now slowly starting to come out. Like I used to be more able to use it, but I grew up as a Baptist minister's daughter. So for anyone who knew I had the gift, they looked at me basically like back then with everyone going into the insane asylum thought it was crazy. Or usually when people find out you have that kind of gift, they assume everything is a demon.
Yeah.
So they assumed, oh, you have a gift. You can see things. You can hear things. You must be doing witchcraft. You must be worshiping the devil. You must be doing something that you're either have a demon attachment or you're possessed by a demon. And I'm just like, no. Especially when no one believed you, especially when they accused me of doing witchcraft. And at the time, with how strict my parents were, the only thing I knew about witchcraft was the Hocus Pocus movies, and I'm like, absolutely not. I don't even know anything about witchcraft to be doing witchcraft at the time.
Mhm.
So I
You know,
so I started hiding it deep down inside. I'm like, no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be accused of this because it was scary. It ended up being scary the way people treated me.
yeah,
But now I feel like it's slowly coming out because it's like, nope, you're not. You can't keep this gift down forever.
yeah.
Are there any are there any safe places in Japan, like off the like that you could investigate, like it maybe
Uh,
off the grid?
oh, she's coming up. That's why I'm taking her. I'm
Yeah.
taking her to suicide. I'm taking her to the suicide forest. I'm taking her to certain places that you can go to that's safe. The waterfall is going to be really fun for Amanda because she's American. I'm Japanese, and how the spirits react to her is going to be very different.
Yeah.
Amanda, why?
The suicide waterfall is once Japan lost the war, they assumed America was going to come over and take over and change their way of life. So they didn't want to see that happen. So basically, when they got the news, there's like a mass suicide at this waterfall. So I told Irene, I'd be more curious to see how they react with me compared to you, especially if you killed yourself because you don't like Americans. Having an American there might trigger something for them.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
also what I told Irene. I am not hiking in case something wants to push me down.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a bridge. It's a huge bridge. They've got nets all the way around, so you can't jump into, can't go over the edge. They got nets all over the place. It's a huge bridge that you can walk across. You can stand in the middle of the bridge. You can take pictures. When you look at it, it's a beautiful waterfall. When you take a picture, that's when all the residual energy comes out. You could see, and one time I saw an old man and an old lady walking on the rocks on the waterfall and jumping. You could see it right there. And when you take a picture using a digital camera, I don't care. Using a film camera, it doesn't matter. You could see it. You could see them if you blow up the picture. It's right there in your face. You could see it. I mean it. And just looking at it's a beautiful waterfall, right? Yeah, it is. It's one of the gorgeous waterfalls you've ever seen. It's just one of the beautiful places. But yeah, behind it, there's a lot of things going on in there. I mean, I have a picture in my on my iCloud, right? Yeah, it's there. I said, okay. I said, now zoom in on the picture and tell me what you see. He said, oh my God, I didn't realize that. I go, mm-hmm. Yep. And all the kids go there for a 3-day trip in the elementary school. Kids go there. The teachers, they take a 3-day camping trip and they go and take a tour all over the place. That's one of the waterfalls where they take them. And they take a huge group photo. And you know what? He could see behind the huge group photo. My son went there too. He said he had a really funny face because he didn't like being there because he could see it. I mean, he was in elementary school. He knew he could see it, right? And he said, he was doing this. I said, what's that crunched up face? Because I could see them behind me looking at me. He didn't like it.
That's no interesting. So this is the same waterfall we're talking about. The massive suicide was happening because they thought the Americans were going to take Japan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my. Okay. Yeah, this will be interesting. This will be interesting energy, like to see. But I think I would understand. Most spirits understand what's happening. Like sometimes I think they get trapped in a certain time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
going to guess that many of the spirits understand that Japan and America are allies now. It may be hard for some to understand that, but maybe.
I mean, they'd be happy about it. There's still a lot of people today that aren't happy about it. So, I mean, if they're not happy
Well,
about it, they see me in that.
and I went to the building that had no roof on it, right? You know the one I'm talking about, right? There was a person who I was talking to. He was a spirit. He died. He went to Japan right after the war. I think the war's ending, and Japan surrendered. And he was giving up blankets, water, and rations of food, right? He was killed in that dome. And he was really upset. He said, I mean, why did they kill me? I don't get it. He was trying to talk to me about this, right? And I was talking to the spirit, and he was going like this at me. But I didn't care, right? Because I have the ability to really
Wait,
have a blown up.
why did they? What was he doing?
He was giving out rations of water and blankets and food to the people of Japan. He came over to America to help people after during that time, and he got killed because of that bomb, atomic bomb.
Oh, he was there when the atomic bomb was dropped.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That building was like it was a finance building, if I'm not mistaken. It's in my podcast. I don't remember, but it was a finance building, and he was on the top floor when he was there, and him, his wife, and his children we were all killed all together.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "What the hell were they thinking about?" And I said, "I have no idea. I cannot answer that question for you. I mean, that's something that the government did. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason why they had to do it." And he was really pissed off because of that. But he wanted to know why. And he just didn't understand it. Every answer that I gave to him, he wouldn't accept it.
Mm-hmm.
And his name was Robert.
So he didn't understand why why America bombed them and why he died in that. Yeah. Huh. Well, there would have been no warning, so I get it.
Yeah.
There would have been you wouldn't, even if there were Americans there. It's not like how we do it today where
Oh,
try to evac everyone from Afghanistan and Iraq and you just know something's happening, or you have to go to the embassy. So I can see the shock and the anger.
he was in tears, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to be professional about it, right? I was trying to do my best and be the proper investigator, but deep down I said, "Oh my God, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this." Because another reason why I went there was because my mother was in junior high. They ran away from the war in Tokyo, so they went to Hiroshima. And guess what? Yeah, that's how she got radiation poisoning too, and she eventually died before her 60th birthday. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why I went, personal and to gain closure with in here of me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. But it was one of those hardest investigations I've ever done. I mean, man, like going to distance and getting your wisdom teeth is better than going there. I tell you that much.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't use equipment here because, like, going back to what I'm saying, I mean, that's still a public place, so
Yeah.
I can't try and you do anything for YouTube, like Spirit Box or any other equipment, because unfortunately, with it being a public place, it's
Yeah,
hard for
that's
me to say. It's
that's
hard for
what-
me to say this voice is. If I recorded a voice, how do you know if it's the voice of a ghost? Especially if I'm like, no, trust me, it was there. She was standing in front of me,
yeah.
and I caught her talking. You could also say, well, you're in a public park. How do I know someone's not nearby talking?
Yeah, outside investigations with ambient contamination will always be an issue. I understand.
She doesn't
But
use equipment.
Yeah, I still do it. I would rather do it my way. I don't have equipment. I don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
I got this. I got this. I got this. I got this, and I got this, and I got this. I don't need
However,
any.
that's not something you can
Yeah.
go on YouTube. You can't go. You can't film it for YouTube and prove it.
I can't prove it. I can't tell you what I saw. I can only say, okay, you gotta listen to me. This is what I see, and it's right there. And then, yeah, you believe me or not, I don't care. It's up to you. But a lot of people saw what I saw, and they could see who I was talking to in the podcast, so they knew.
I put a lot of trust into psychic phenomena. Rebecca, who films on Resident Dead with me,
Mhm.
I look at it like a military operation, eyes in
Mhm.
the sky. I can't see what's going on, but you can use psychic phenomena to guide the investigation to help us understand who we're speaking to, and direct the questions better.
Mhm.
So that was the whole purpose of the show. Like, it's just designed for. I love storytelling. I love sharing the adventure, and I really science and psychic phenomena, and
Yeah.
that's what I've been trying to really pull together, because I think when you marry the two together, very interesting. Very, very.
And I don't use the same old questions. Who are you? What's your name? How old are you? Blah blah blah. How'd you die? Like, I don't care, because they'll eventually show me. And it's like a video. They'll show me this how what happened to them and how they died. They'll show me everything, so I don't have to really answer anything. I don't have to ask questions, right? But I like spirit boxes to a point, because if I say your name is such and such in the spirit box, it's the same thing. That gives me validation,
Yes.
right?
More than plausible. It happens a lot, and that's
Yeah.
the people that don't believe, that's fine. I get it. I'm not in the business to turn skeptics into believers.
Oh.
I see that at the properties all the time. A bunch of people come in. They got that one friend who's a skeptic. Hey, this is Billy. He doesn't believe I'm here because tonight he will. And I'm thinking to myself, no, Billy's probably not going to believe tonight. You have to. It happens when it happens, right? When you have that aha moment, you're hooked, and you want more. You want more answers. I didn't believe.
Unless he gets hit in the head with an object.
Mostly they're still trying to find another explanation for it. That's one reason why I love Skeptics and Team, is they're the ones putting the most effort into finding another reason why this happened.
Yes.
It keeps us sane. It keeps us on our toes and saying, yeah, not everything is paranormal. I agree with that. Maybe it's the air conditioning, or maybe it's the wind fan, or maybe it's the windows that's open. Yeah, make sure you have everything in a sterile environment before you say, oh, that was a ghost. Nah, it couldn't be that. But make sure you got it right before you say it is. I got that. And I definitely applaud that too, because I agree with that also.
Mhm.
And there's nothing wrong with making sure that what you saw is what you saw, and not something that you put in your head. Yeah, that was that. I guarantee it was that. I said, how do you know? Because, but yeah, there are times when I said that too,
Oh, no. I think one of the hardest things I've dealt with in the paranormal the last 14 years is, like, you get to this point where, like, I don't know anymore. Like, when a lot of locations, this is a problem I have, is like they give you a historical tour when you first come in, right? How much do you really know about a location? Like, even if, someone, Irene, let's say someone's trying to give your whole life story, or what they think is your life story. They only got maybe a percentage or two actually right, because no one really knows all the things you've ever done, right? Then they pigeonhole them into a tour, and they're like, well, this happened here. And what happens is, with that little bit of historical overview of a location that's been here for maybe 190 years, if something happens, they think it was because of that little piece of history. And there's much more that we don't know what's going on. So I've gotten to the theories of mimics. There are spirits here that hear the history, and there's only certain key players we talk about. The spirits become that. Because that's who they think they're looking for. There's no receipt to an EVP. You can get an EVP that says, like at Madison Seminary, we have Sarah's room. It's an infamous room about a little spirit, a little girl that haunts that room. I don't think it's a little spirit or a little girl, but we get EVPs all the time that says it's Sarah. And I think at this point, it's just something, wanting to identify itself as that, because that's what people want to hear, or even when you get EVPs that say, I am Lucifer. It's like, really, if Lucifer exists, you spent that much, like, you got a busy schedule, right? But you took.
And you're really hanging out here?
Yeah.
Yeah, really? Yeah. Okay. I get it. Like, history have to be rewritten, I think. And the only way we can do is by talking to the spirits more, talking to the energy of what really happened. They'll tell you, they'll come out and they'll tell you exactly what happened to them, right? They're not afraid to tell you, right? They'll tell you everything what happened to them. And they're not gonna be they're not gonna put any blank in it. They're gonna It's raw, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think history books have to be rewritten because it's just hearsay of what happened. It's not really talking like how do you know, right?
How do you know? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I know a lot of things that happened to certain places, and no, it didn't happen like that. And I
we,
said, no, it didn't happen.
we were talking about this, like, if you looked at what is taught in Japanese schools and what's taught in American schools on history, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
all perspective of the source that's teaching the history.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just using the two as an example because we can all
Yeah.
relate.
Mhm.
Like, we're not all being taught the same things or through the same
No.
film. You know, they say the victors write the history books, right? Sometimes this stuff get, mismatched, and I don't know. I agree with you.
Poppycock sometimes, it's like, right? That's what I'm going to say to that one, right? Because you really don't know, right?
Mm-hmm. I agree with
The,
you. I do.
the one thing I don't like, I'm going to say this again and again and again. When the American soldiers and Japan lost the war, they brought back artifacts. They took swords, they took certain things that people owned, and they brought it back to America.
Mm-hmm.
And stupid damn things haunted, right? They don't know what the hell to do with. Send it back to Japan, please, because it doesn't belong in your country. That's why it's haunted. Okay, that's why the swords are haunted because they don't like what's going on with them. They don't like the country that they're in. They don't like the energy of the person who owns it. Give it back to the country. Don't keep it. Don't put salt around it and say, "Oh, we gotta contain it." No, you gotta give it back to the country. That's all I'm gonna say about that one. And it doesn't belong to you. It was stolen.
That's interesting.
There's still a lot of Japanese that has bad feelings about Americans being over here. So
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of Japanese people who took care of the dead bodies of the soldiers, and they did create a proper burial grave for them. And yeah, they did take care of the people. It's not. We're not talking about enemies and stuff like that. We're talking about the people, the human being, as a human being. Sure, there were animosities because the government portrayed that, right? Like every time the government portrays that, you're bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
They why, but yeah, a lot of people did care for the dead American soldiers, and they did make shrines for them, and they did put money and give them proper burial ground in Japan. Yeah, there's a lot of that happened. Like, the government was stupid, right? Every government's kind of dumb, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they do a lot of stupid things and tell the people a lot of dumb things, right? So the people said, no, we have nothing to do with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're just people where everyone can be an enemy, but everyone can be a friend.
I don't really necessarily think, the more I talk to people abroad, it's not the citizens that hate each other of other countries. It's our governments don't get along at times.
Yeah.
yeah,
Club. And I think that's one thing I understood about politics right away. It is their
Yeah.
own club, and they are working at a very higher level than us.
Yeah.
The people that I talk to everywhere, we really could care less. Like, we're not, you know what I mean? It's so interesting.
No. That's why I said send the certain leaders. I'm not going to tell. I'm not going to say who. I think you know who I'm talking about, right? Send them up in a rocket ship. Bring them. Make them have one bologna sandwich. You get along when your friends come back. But until you belong up there, and you stay up there until you learn how to get along with each other. That's what I always said. And you know what? I'm not that far off, right?
Yeah, they need a good reset. They need a good reset. I know.
we always said with the U.S. Congress and Senate, put them on the minimum wage, and we'll see. We'll see how fast things
Oh,
get.
Oh yeah, make them potatoes in the farm, make them pick oranges in the grove in Florida. See how far they're gonna get, right?
Well, just living on a minimum wage alone,
Well,
things would get drastically improved because to them, they're like, oh, there's nothing wrong with the economy as they make a crap load of money every year.
they shouldn't be allowed to vote their own raises. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should not. There should be limited terms. This should not be a lifetime job. And
Yeah.
yet, you should be paid the minimum wage of your state. So whatever your state is that you're representing, that is your payment. So you better work for your people. I think the governments forget that they work for us. We don't work for them. I mean, that's that's it's almost
it's funny, because my kids flip burgers in the beginning when they started high school. I flipped burgers too afterwards when I finished high school. I mean, it creates character, right? You get $4.25, you flip burgers, right? Yeah. Learn, man, you learn fast, right? It creates character, I tell ya. Yeah.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
It does. I mean,
first, the world would be better.
Yeah, I think we all could learn a little bit of humbleness, take a piece of humble pie and learn how to eat it properly.
I will say, being over here, I can see why some Japanese don't like Americans. Just because it's funny, because when you're over here, someone told me this when I first moved over here. You're gonna look at some Americans and you're just be like, "Fucking Americans!" Like you're not one. You don't know what that means, but right now, but wait, you will say "fucking Americans" like you're not one. And then the more I live here, the more I see shit and the more I say it like I'm not one. And I understand it's because we'll be in a restaurant and this is even rude in America, so I don't even know why they're doing it here. We'll be on the other side of the restaurant and you just hear someone blaring their music as loud as they can.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and that's one, it's happened to me multiple times in a restaurant. You just hear someone blaring music. And that's one of the reasons. That's one of those times. I'm like, fucking Americans. I'm like, that is rude there. That is extra rude over here, where they're more quiet.
Yeah.
Japanese citizens are usually more quiet.
What were they? These are the tourists, American tourists coming over.
Yeah, they'll be like, and it's usually like someone like rap or something, and I'm just like, what the hell are you doing?
Wait, blaring it where? At a restaurant?
In a restaurant, and I'm like, like I said, I mean, I can't even talk to the person next to me because we can't hear each other, and we're on the other side of the restaurant. So I'm just like, what?
Is it like? Are they? We don't have this happening over here, though. Is this like they're on vacation? They don't care? It's a different kind.
I think that might be it. But I can also see it because in Kyoto, a lot of the tourists are now banned in some of the Gaion districts. But I get that because I've seen videos, and all those videos are tame where a lot of Americans are harassing the geishas trying to get photos. They're stopping in the street. They're getting in their way. They're tripping them, and they're just like in their face with the cameras. And they're like, well, they're in public, so there's no right to privacy. And it's funny because over here we say that is such an American thinking. Just because you're in public doesn't mean you should be in someone's face with a camera taking a photo.
Yeah.
And it's actually it's actually against the law to be taking like a photo of them without their permission. They'd even be stalking them to their houses to take photos. They'd be waiting for them outside their house to take a photo.
The American,
yeah. This is why Americans are banned and like
they're breaking in their houses too, just so they can take a picture.
What?
Or they're also putting like their cameras up to the windows and taking a photo of them through their window.
The American tourists are doing this to Japanese citizens that they
like the geishas, yes. That's also why they had to now. So originally they put a nice big fine on if you're caught doing that. But then Americans just don't care, so they're like, well, I guess we're gonna have to ban you guys from certain areas in Kyoto.
Are they creeps? They're like going after women?
Well, yeah, that's usually what the geishas are. I mean, the geishas are very pretty, but at the same time, I'm not going to jump in their way and prevent them from walking to take pictures.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow,
And I heard like that's just very tame. I know a lot of people say, well, that you don't have a right to privacy when you're in public. And the Japanese are like, that is the American way of
That-
thinking. Because
that's-
actually here in Japan,
Yeah.
I can get in legal trouble for live streaming. You're not
Yeah.
supposed to live stream.
But if that's the country's rules, then absolutely. Because in America, it's just because of legal stuff. You know, that's just a generalized law. It's easy in a court of law that if someone's out in public, they could be filmed. But that's an American concept.
That's American, yeah.
So if it's not according to that to the Japanese, then they need to really enforce that. They said they are though, right?
They started banning tourists from certain areas of the Guyana district just for that. And
Well,
even like the tea houses stopped booking and serving Americans for that reason too.
Well,
They're just like they're so done with Americans. They're like, you can't.
And they're
we're not.
all over the place.
Banning.
You shouldn't be taking selfies too. They're taking selfies like left, right, and center. Like stand in the middle of the road taking selfies. In the middle of the street when the cars are waiting with the cars to go green and they're taking selfies with the one of those thingamajiggers. Yeah, they're doing it in the middle of the street.
What the shit? Okay.
Yeah.
We need to like disclaimer when Americans go abroad, be on good behavior. What the hell?
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing? Oh,
You know what? You should come. You should come and we do video. What not to do.
It's a video of Adam yelling at Americans. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Oh, he can't come in. Shit. There's a spirit that's bothering him that doesn't like him doing this podcast. You know that? I can feel it. Ah, damn it. Ooh. Continue.
Harry.
Probably ones that we wouldn't even want. So just put them in jail over there.
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
that's why.
we could-
Yeah,
we could do a podcast. What not to do in Japan, right?
Yeah.
I was like,
Just put them in jail, dude. If they break Japanese law, it's a sovereign country, so like just put them in jail.
You know, I wonder if you saw this on Facebook. There was a guy. I don't know. He was I think he was a black guy. He went to Tokyo. He went to Hiroshima. He went to Nagasaki. He made these videos and said, "Yeah, you stupid dumb bleep bleep bleep. Yeah, that's the reason why we bombed your country. Yeah, you deserve it. You dumb stupid blah blank blank blank." He said a lot. He used a lot of f bombs in it, and he did that in Osaka, and he was put into jail. And I showed
the shit beat out of him. All right, jail works too, but
I showed my friend, and he goes, "What the?" He was using all kinds of.
it's
He was-
funny here. So what a lot of people don't understand when they come to Japan is, unlike America, where cops need a reason to put you in jail, they do not have to have a reason here to hold you in jail for up to 23 days.
Yeah.
holy shit.
They don't have. Yeah, they don't have to have an actual reason. They can throw you in jail for up to 23 days. And they say it's funny because there was one case, I don't know what he did. I'm gonna assume it was a very disrespectful American. Cops threw
Yeah.
him in jail the 23 days, and they can't do this. The second he stepped out of the police building on his 23rd day, the police were already out there waiting for him. They rearrested him and threw him back in there for another 23 days. They kept doing it until his visa ran out, and they're like, "You gotta go back now."
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So they put the airplane. They said you're gone, and
Yeah.
and then he will no longer be accepted. So he'll be on the blacklist.
How long was his like? Do you know how long they kept doing that?
It's usually 90 days.
90 days.
So
Holy.
yeah, they kept on. They literally waited till he opened the door to the police building to rearrest him and throw him back in there. Like, you're not leaving. You're not.
It's not even like there's no such thing as probable cause.
No, they can arrest you for up to 23 days for no reason, because they told us that. They're like, we're just letting you guys know so you're extra careful and you think about the stupid shit you're doing. because
Yeah.
they can throw you in jail for up to 23 days without pressing any charges, without any reason, without any probable cause. This is
But
not America.
is there no representation, no lawyers?
Not for
Oh,
up to
they
23 days.
yeah. You can be now. They have lawyers who help foreign people in Japan now. It's free. You can get it through any government, or you can get it through any agency now. It's
You know,
in the internet. Yeah. Yeah. I know.
well,
I
However, from my understanding, not for the 23 days, because you're not technically charged for anything, and they have the right to hold you up to 23 days if they wish.
but is there some kind of investigation going on within 23 days?
Oh, they have. They probably did that too. They probably did that too, because in Japan, it's everything's thoroughly investigated. If they don't,
Oh
then
yeah,
they just have to go back and do it over again.
But I mean, there's nothing that can stop them then if that's the legal system, the law. I guess that's kind of scary, but
well, it's probably those people are being really disrespectful to the point where the police were like, "I need to get this person off the street," so they
Or
did
it-
the 23 days holding up
yeah,
until.
it could be a loophole, definitely taken towards rowdy tourists or
Just
Americans.
don't do something stupid, Harry, and you'll be good.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but if you're going to disrespect culture when you go over, come on. I mean,
it's Japan is like a really big country. Okay, you journalists can post anything they want to because it's open, because the government will never say anything. They can't say anything
mhm.
to journalism. It's more independent. You don't have censorship from any of the government. You can do almost whatever you want here. Like you can walk anywhere you want to. Nobody's going to stop you. No one's going to get mad at you. It's just use your wits when you go someplace, right?
Mhm.
And be respectful. That's all I'd say. But yeah, a lot of people don't.
Yeah, that's why I think that's probably why they have the 23-day rule in effect. Is
Yeah,
disrespectful.
absolutely.
They're realizing foreigners are coming over there, and they're like, "I'm another country. I'll do what I want," and they're disrespectful. So that's probably their way of saying we
Yeah,
can't have you be disrespectful to the citizens. So
yeah. And bombing the citizens too, and saying all kinds of stupid things. That could get you in a lot of trouble.
Uh,
And you know what?
the one problem, well, Amanda, you get it too, is there's a lot of entitlement problems in America. And, I think my grandpa, he fought in World War II. He was in the Pacific Theater. He was on a destroyer. Actually, my great uncle was Admiral Kimmel at Pearl Harbor.
Hmm.
That's tied to history. But what I'm getting at is you have a generation of men that all earned status, things like that, fought for things. You know that saying that Joe Rogan has said, strong men create good times create weak men create soft times create weak men, or it's a cycle.
Hmm.
And the problem we're seeing now is there's a lot of entitlement, but it was never earned,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure how to correct that. That's because a lot of strong things had to happen, but it creates the bad times,
Yeah.
It I don't know how to correct that. I think there would have to be another global situation that has to create strength.
Yeah.
But I don't, and it's also a cultural problem. Like, it's again politics. You can't get away from it. But I
No.
live in the paranormal. The amount of guests we take in that,
Yeah.
most are respectful, but there's just the worst with, you know.
It's a really difficult subject, and it's not going to be fixed overnight.
No.
It's gonna take years of reprogramming. I'm gonna say that word because it is reprogramming, right?
Well, how are the youngest generation of children in Japan? How is it? Do you see any problems unfolding?
Not really, because school is gonna be really strict.
Mm-hmm.
You have to wear a uniform when you're in elementary school, depending on what Kindergarten you have to wear uniform. Elementary schools, some of them don't. The government uniform, the government elementary schools, you don't have to wear uniform. The private schools, you have to.
Same.
But even the regular elementary schools, they're really tough too because children line up in a row. You hold up your hand if you have a question. You ask permission to use the toilet. You're given toilet time during a break. And you go to the bathroom, you wash your hands, you come back, you sit down, and you clean your classroom after lunch.
God,
Yeah,
all right.
yep, and
My
yeah,
understanding is they also serve lunches there too. Like you
yeah,
have
hot
people that
lunches.
serve
You get
lunch.
hot lunches, and they have a dietitian that makes sure you have meat, protein, vegetables, carbs, and everything else. Yep,
Milk.
Amanda,
yep, yep.
I wanted to ask you this, right? The American diet is trash. There's so much crap in our food. Did you notice a difference when you were eating over in Japan?
There is, especially because here things are less sugary. Like even
Yeah,
their cakes have less
Yeah,
sugar. I
yeah,
mean, that's one of the
yeah.
things I kind of
You
eventually
noticed
missed
that,
over
right?
here was I can't go to. I mean, there are some bakeries, but if you buy a piece of cake, it's obviously not as sweet as American because
yeah,
we load everything with sugar. Over here, they don't, so you
yeah,
don't have as much of a sweet taste. And at first, I kind of missed like, oh, I miss kind of going buying a cupcake or a piece of cake because it's not. But after you start getting your body starts getting used to less sugar, you
Mhm.
hmm,
start to enjoy it more. There's not as many preservatives and things.
Mhm.
yeah,
So more likely when a lot of people when they come back from Japan or even the people come in to visit from Japan, they get sick they get sick off American food when they come back because all of a sudden you're hit with so
Mhm.
much more sugar. You're hit with preservatives when over here everything is more fresh. There's not really many preservatives. There's not as much sugar. So
No, that's
and
true. I had a friend who went over to the UK and he was doing competition eating. All right, here's I knew there's a problem. Competition eating, and he's like, Adam, I'm losing weight. I'm losing weight, and I'm eating more food than ever because
yeah,
poisoned our food here with so. Uh, when I went on a high protein diet, I was trying to eat as organic as possible, and I did it for 5 weeks. And I dropped weight, but it's crazy that we have to do that on purpose here. Like we have to
yeah,
try to do that because it's so easy to get crap stuff that is made and mass produced.
yeah,
Um,
it's cheaper than a healthier stuff. So that's why we're kind of forced to buy it in this
we're,
economy.
yeah,
Yeah, you're kind of forced to buy things made with mostly preservatives.
I was out at Dollar Tree buying some little supplies for a party, right?
hmm,
I felt terrible because you look at the economical problems of families where they're in there and they're letting their kids buy all these snacks and stuff because it's affordable. But this is the Dollar Tree, right? This is some
Mhm.
crappy food. The Dollar Tree is like a really cheap store. Well, the name Dollar in it, right? So it's like
Yeah,
everything's ranged
yeah,
to a dollar, but it is designed trash that we should not be feeding our children. And the parents don't know any better, but they're also on a forced budget. So to these kids, they can get a lot of stuff here, but it is not stuff like even the drinks. I'm looking at them like, oh my god, the sugar that's right this, and
You should see my drink. It's different.
yeah,
It's got it's got what is it? 10% juice in it, right?
yeah,
This is
that's
pineapple, mango, but it doesn't have the coloring in it.
oh the food coloring, the dyes and stuff that have been linked up.
No,
yeah.
All this
no.
stuff absolutely is a problem. Red 40, blue 1. We don't need to dye that stuff. But Amanda, did you feel you said it's been a year and a half since you've been over there?
Yeah,
Do you feel better?
I do. I was just thinking about that. Is we've been less sick since we've been here, and that might be part of it. Is we're not eating as much crap. I mean,
You
I
were
Yeah,
even
sick.
started eating. I even started losing weight
Mm-hmm.
too. And I wasn't even doing anything. Like people
Yeah.
assume I came over here and started dieting. I'm like, I haven't. I actually started eating more because the food, with it being so fresh, tasted
The
so good.
food's healthier. It's not
Because
bad.
I wasn't used you're not used to it being that fresh. And Irene can tell you over here, majority of restaurants don't do takeout.
No.
Like you can't. I mean, the only thing you can really have like Uber Eats over here is like Domino's.
Yeah. Well, she is.
Well, I don't know about her, yeah, and I say with Irene might be a little bit different, but majority of restaurants don't do takeout, and it's because
Yeah.
they take things very seriously here.
You mean there's no drive-through? When you mean takeout, you like drive-through?
There's
They
not
don't
really
have
any
that.
drive-through. You can't go in there like you know how like you can go into a restaurant and you can get like you can order ahead of time. You can get it to go. You
Yeah.
can't. Majority 90% of restaurants don't do that here, and it's because they don't want you to. Let's say you don't properly store it or properly heat it, and you get
Sick.
the food illness. They don't want you getting sick, and they don't want to be responsible for it, so they just say no takeout. This is also why I tell people when you come here, only order what you know you're going to eat. Because if you
Yeah.
order stuff and you're like, I want to try this and this, then I'll just take it back. I'm like, you're gonna find out. They're not gonna give you like a doggy bag to go. It's
Mm-mm.
if you can't eat it, it's wasted.
Yeah.
But why would the restaurant be held responsible for the people being stupid? Like if they
Because it's your responsibility. Because it's the restaurant's responsibility. Because they served you the food. You see, food shelf life is very short in this country.
especially there's no preservatives in it, but like
Yeah.
If you get sushi, it has to be eaten within so many hours, or it's on the shelf within the most 2 hours. After that, they throw it away
that makes sense.
because it cannot be eaten,
So
and it's
is it shunned to take food when you leave?
they won't allow you to.
So you have to leave your food in the restaurant.
Mhm.
Yeah. You're not gonna get a doggy bag. If you can't eat it, you can't get a doggy bag. So
Oh,
that's why I tell
no.
people only order what you can eat because they're not gonna give you a doggy bag. You're not gonna be able to get it to go. You're not gonna be able to save it for later and reheat it in your microwave later. And I'm like, that's not gonna happen.
That's
Yeah.
wild. That's wild.
Even you see, we have a Costco in Tokyo, okay, and you can get pizza, you can get whatever you want, but they have a warning label on it. Do not bring this home and do not eat after so many hours because it's going to get sick. Because we have like nearly 90-degree weather in this country, okay? It can go up to 100. It
Absolutely.
can go 100 plus, okay?
You're leaving
And
stuff.
you can fry an egg on the concrete. And I live in the concrete metropolis, right? Everywhere I live is concrete. I live in the city of Tokyo, okay? They don't want you getting food poisoning because it's hot in the summertime. So they advise you not to do this in the summertime in Japan.
It makes sense. It does.
It's for your own safety. It's for your own safety.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times when I'm managing cakes, they don't use icing cream. They don't use icing sugar. They use whipping cream.
Mhm.
So, and they give you like little blocks of ice, package of ice, dry ice, and you tell them how long do you need it for? 2 hours, 3 hours, or 4 hours. They'll give you more ice in your cake to bring home. So it's all pure whipping cream, and they usually have fruit on it too, fresh fruit on it too.
Damn.
And you know what? The fruit is grown in orchards that have no insecticides on it.
That's another new one. We talk about that
And
all the time. The insecticides that
the strawberries are in a hothouse. They have bees pollinating the flowers, but the bees don't bite.
Jesus Christ. That sounds
And
great.
the peaches are all wrapped in this kind of like really thin paper, so the insects won't come out after it.
See, the problem with America is everything's corporate. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And I've been so frustrated about that lately. It's all corporate. It's all about making the money and saving money. And when you do that, you destroy things.
Yeah,
That's wild. I really,
we got abandoned orange farm not so far away from where I live, and they give you a pair of scissors. They give you
Mm-hmm.
They give you a bucket and a pair of scissors. You can snip the orange off the tree and take it home and eat it.
Mm-hmm.
That is one
They
thing I like
also
about sushi. That is one thing I like about sushi here is anything you eat was caught that morning,
yeah
compared to America, where
yeah.
who knows
Or
how old it
that
is.
night.
Gas
That
station
night.
sushi.
Yep. They go out in the night. They go fishing and they bring it in, and 7 o'clock in the morning, and then it's sold in the market, and
Yeah.
it's cooked, or it's prepared that day.
It would have to be quick. You're right. If you're going to do it right. Well, then the gas station sushi isn't real. I would imagine, right? Out here in America,
Eh,
that can't be real.
the one in the supermarkets are good too. You can eat those too.
Yeah.
Well,
In
our convenience stores are different.
Yeah.
Convenience stores here, the food they do sell is restaurant quality compared to United
Yeah.
States, where you're probably going to get sick.
Mm-hmm.
And they got a shelf life too. Like it's 2 hours maximum, and they all throw it up in the garbage.
How do they keep things shelved?
They do.
You got to keep moving. It's more like a fresh market kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have the time stamped on the food,
Mm-hmm.
and they have the dates, and they have the time and date stamped on the food. If it's older, they put it all in a basket and they all throw it in the garbage
Damn.
because they don't want you getting sick. That's why. It's on them if you get sick.
See, that's backwards. That's interesting, but it's a good. I get it.
Because they could get fined from the health department,
Mm-hmm.
or they could get thrown in jail because of that, or they could get store like this. We call it this, meaning that you go to jail.
Over here, if you just get sick from eating food, you're just dumb. But
Yeah, but here, no, it could cause illegal action. You could sue. You could sue
Oh,
the
you can
store.
sue the United States for anything that's stupid. That's one thing I hate. That's one thing I'm starting to hate about people is people are suing for stupid things now.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I know. And there's always a lawyer. There's always a lawyer that'll help. And always they love stupid.
There was someone who sued Coke because they drank Diet Coke every day and did not lose weight.
Oh no! How about the woman? This was a really famous case back in the day that got a hot coffee from McDonald's.
Oh, I remember that.
Do you remember this fraud? Spills it on her and then sues because the coffee was too hot, and it's like, you got to be kidding me. And that's why they had to put the warning label on it, hot. It's like when they put the seatbelt warnings, don't put seatbelt around your neck because someone tried and it's really embarrassing. You can't be that tough. You can't be.
Yeah. But it happens. You know that. Yeah.
Like, I wonder, like people talk about Bigfoot all the time, and there's Bigfoot researchers that get mad when I say this. I'm like, where's the dumb one? Like, where's the dumb one that walks out of the woods that's like, no, don't go down there? And then you know what I mean? Or is it just, do we have, like, we could never hide as a human species because there'd be that one that just ruins it for all of us.
Yeah.
For some reason, we can't find Bigfoot like that,
There is, yeah. There was someone in the United States who sued someone, and the person was going to break into their house. What they did is they climbed on the roof. The person had the window on top, whatever you want to call them, the
sunroof or sunlight,
whatever those windows are called in people's roofs. They had one, so they were on it, and they fell through the window. They fell through the window, and they fell on the person's kitchen table, and they hurt themselves on the knife they had in their nightstand, and they sued the homeowner for it, for their injuries.
No, and did they win?
I think they won.
You are on someone's roof that is not your house, and you fall through their window that is not your window, and you fall onto their knife set. Isn't that trespassing already? Like,
yeah.
Oh, God, you've got to be. I'm in Ohio currently. I think they have the castle law here. I know Texas has it. I don't know this castle law. Like, it's like if someone's trespassing, like, come on. That's got to be some really bad to happen. Got to be California. I swear to God, that's California, isn't it? That's
I
California.
don't remember where it is. I just remember hearing about it because I'm like, why would you sue when you fell through their roof, their window? Like
Yeah.
you were already trying to break in, so whatever you did caused it to smash.
That is the most stupidest shit. God.
Sorry for laughing, but yeah, it is.
We even know it's stupid and it's happening. Oh my God.
You gotta be the most ridiculous dumbass.
Yeah.
Never mind. Never mind. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna go there.
I would love to have listened if they took that to trial. I would have loved to listen to that one. Like, please.
I'm sure you heard of the woman who sued her parents because she did not consent to being born.
Oh my God. Okay. I vaguely think I heard about this, but I don't. I thought it was a joke.
No, she did because she said, I did not consent to being born. You did not ask me if I want to be born. And her reasoning is you're supposed to hire a psychic to ask.
Oh my God.
You're supposed to hire a psychic or someone to ask my baby spirit who, that it's forming in your stomach. Do I want to be born? And I'm just like, how does a psychic do that though for someone who hasn't been born yet, or even I guess conceived? Because they're like, you're supposed to ask consent before you conceive me, and it's like, what?
And then the kid later in life, can I see the reviews of that psychic? I don't think you used a valid psychic. What is this coming to? Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah. Even I couldn't do that.
I know. But there's the dirty psychics out there, the ones that do the gimmicks. They be lining right up.
Oh yeah. If you pay them enough money, they'll tell you
they'll do it.
everything that you wanted to know, right?
Right? Oh my God. Yeah.
I think she originally won, but then the parents appealed it and they won that. Because I'm just like, what? That judge had been paid the first time.
You would have to take that. If there was serious problem, you need to take that all the way to the Supreme Court. But that's really stupid. They're going to laugh at it because if that became law, then any kid could ever, you know what I mean? Like you can't. You have to shut that down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's we read it in this country, we start laughing because we think it's so hilarious, right?
Goddamn America.
It's absolutely. There's one place that I want to go to in Japan that the people who are convicted of a really bad crime, they were hung and they were cremated, and because they did bad things, their family doesn't want their bodies, so they threw their remains in the forest. And I want to know where that forest is. I want to investigate that. I'm just stupid, okay? But I want to see how haunted it is.
You could still use an SB7 in the forest. Just crank a speaker to it really loud. And you know what I mean? Digital voice recorder may be a little tougher because that's more sensitive, but yeah.
But I'm the most weirdest person. I don't like going to these popular places. Yeah, they're cool, right? Yeah, okay, everyone knows. But there are other places that are really cool that could be different.
Oh, 100%. Do you think that these places that are heavily popular or heavily investigated become contaminated by the energy of the investigators going in there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All the time.
And
I want to hear it.
Especially the suicide forest, okay? Every Tom, Dick, and Harry from America wants to go there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to go there too. But my way of doing it may be different than yours, right? So, yeah, my way of doing it would be more respectful. So I'm gonna get respect to the people who have decided to end their lives. But I don't go in there and be an idiot, right? Yeah, that's the thing. It's just these other places are are extremely haunted, and they're different, and they're not on the roadmap of I want to go there, I want to go there, I want to go there. Yeah, I do, but there's other places that are extremely haunted and it's extremely cool
Oh, yeah.
that people don't know, right?
There's a lot of undiscovered out there. Absolutely.
Yeah. Like Amanda never knew about the suicide waterfall until I told her. It's not listed as one of the haunted places to visit. She didn't know until I told her, right? And I showed her pictures of it too.
Word of mouth.
Yeah. And you know, the thing that you learn from elders is where's the most haunted places, right? They'll tell you. You learn from the old people. You don't learn from the young people. Young people, if they can't see it, if they can't feel it, if they can't see it, if they can't feel it, they don't believe it. Because they go to school and they learn a lot more from reading books, right?
Well, social media also kind of ruined that, or they're so used to everyone faking evidence, so that's why they think everything is fake.
They're more analytical, right? So they don't believe a lot of stuff. So you have to prove it. But I'm not good.
Because their grandparents came from a time where you really couldn't fake it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Compared to now, where people are faking it all the time. They're using speakers in other rooms. They're using AI to generate something into the videos, and it's just it's getting ridiculous now. That's why the younger generation is so used to things more being fake that they don't even think anything is real anymore.
Yeah. But it'll be interesting to go to these other places to see what's there, because I want to see them without poking the bear too much.
Interesting for sure.
You should come and visit.
After what I've heard about Japan now, dude, I am very intrigued.
It looks beautiful on the outside, but you have to do this to see what else there is, and something scary too. Something you don't want to touch with the 10-foot pole. I get it, because I don't want to touch with the 10-foot pole either.
I like your energy, Irene. I like your.
Thank you.
You found a good one. You found a good one.
I'm goofy. I'm crazy. I'm wacky because everything that I do is so darn serious.
Yeah.
It's like this.
Oh, I get it. It lightens the
mood. I have to be that way. It's to break what I have to deal with 90% of the time, and it's not fun either. It's a hell of a journey. Let's put it that way.
I get it. No, that's interesting, and I've learned a lot. Actually, I didn't know the differences of the culture. Man, right out the gate with what you guys said about the paranormal shocked me. I would have thought it was a booming tourist thing, like because you said in the UK, like you're right. We know in the UK there's tons of spots. I did not believe it was like bootlegging ghost hunting in Japan.
Yeah.
There
and
is another
places. You just have to ask the police department, the local police department, and bring them a nice box of steamed buns or something. They'll let you go.
Yeah.
That's what it is in this country. It's like, but
there's still a lot of other people going there. That's also why I can't really investigate like I did in the States, because going back to it, interference from other people around it, I can't prove this sound was not someone nearby, or this didn't go off because someone else was nearby, and it's just
Amanda, what equipment did you bring with you?
So I originally had like the SB7, maybe some cameras, and then also had like recorders and stuff. And then I just end up giving it to someone back in the United States because I'm like, I can't really use it here because I can't book anywhere. I can go to parks or public places, but I can't.
Oh, you know what? Don't worry about it. When we go, I don't care if anybody watches me or if they sees me. They're like, "Yeah, you're nuts." I go, "Yeah, I don't give a shit." Right? That's the way that I don't care. I just go about doing whatever I want to do.
I will have to let you guys know because tomorrow I'm figuring out what's going to go on in Indiana.
Mhm.
I am really curious now. I didn't really want to make the drive out to do this because it's only 4.5 hours, but they wanted an active investigation with them possibly. But now knowing about Japanese culture and the paranormal, I'm so intrigued. Like I feel like this was like a sign. Like, you know, you have me on the show and I'm like, ironically tomorrow I'd have to look again. I got sent a video and you sent me a name. There are a bunch of young kids, maybe 4 or 5 of them. Is that
I'm gonna tell you one thing to do when you go and see them, when you take them someplace, make sure you have a lot of sea salt. Because they will want to cleanse themselves when they leave the area
okay?
outside. Make sure they have that because we're really superstitious people. We don't want anything hanging on to us when we leave any particular place that has somebody died or even a funeral. Okay? We don't want them hanging around with us. We don't want them to attach themselves to us. So bring a lot of sea salt. You don't have to do anything to it. You just have to bring it with you in a box or anything, or in a bag, or it doesn't matter. Even in a Ziploc bag, it doesn't matter. Just make sure you have a lot of that with you so they can use it to cleanse themselves.
And they will know what to do with it.
Yeah, because they'll do this, put here, 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 and on their legs.
They
when they
should
leave.
know. They
Yeah.
should know what they're doing with it. I'd be suspicious if they don't.
Yeah, I'd say you stupid idiot if you don't know what to do with it. Right, that's what I would say to them. But
Sage does absolutely nothing here. You can't really. I mean, at least in my area, you can't buy sage. I don't know about Irene's area, but here, sage in a place is nothing. They don't believe in sage, so
This may sound like a really dumb question. I'm sorry. Does I sound like I'm so dumb? Do you get
just go, just blurt it out. I don't care.
because I sound like I'm just like this dumb American asking questions.
No,
No.
I don't
Is there
give a hoot. It's okay. That's why we did this show, right, Amanda? So you can
Yeah.
ask questions.
how do you get stuff? Do you have like does Amazon go international?
yeah. I also have an American address I can Amazon too.
Yeah.
In Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I felt like that might have been a dumb question. I didn't know if Amazon like was international.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but don't bring sage because sage means absolutely nothing to
No.
the Japanese. So
Well, I mean,
yeah.
No.
Oh, I didn't know if it was like blacklisted, like you couldn't order that. Is there stuff off Amazon that will not ship into Japan?
Oh, I don't care. I get it both. I can get both. Or I can ask my friend in America to buy it from me. I don't give a hoot. I
I
got
don't know if there's
connections
anything
all
really
over
banned
America.
here, but obviously there's no need to buy sage. That's why we have no metaphysical shops.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
it's not needed here.
I was just curious if I came to Japan, like sometimes you need some last minute stuff, and Amazon saves the day every time. So that's good.
Nah, I take you to the store here. I know where to get everything.
All right.
I know a lot of people when they talk about cleansing a person or an area, you have to go by the person's belief, or because it's going to do absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Saging to you might mean something, but if it means nothing to them, it's not going to do anything in their house.
Yeah, sage means nothing to this country. Like, you can use Palo Santo, you can do whatever you want. Yeah, it don't work, right? Because you have to say Buddhist prayers in the middle of the room and you have to chant it to get rid of it. Or you could do like Kuchikiri like I do.
Mm-hmm.
Kuchikiri
You
is
can
a
also go to cleanse yourself, go to like a temple.
yeah, I'd take it to a
They have
temple.
they have their own. I don't even remember the name, but they have their own incense. I don't really. The one I experienced didn't really have a scent, but it was made by the Buddhist monks with
Hmm.
the sole purpose to cleanse.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I know
I
there's a certain name. I can't remember
yeah.
the name of them though. But it's not a scent. It's literally made from the Buddhist monks for cleansing.
Yeah. I'm there's a part of me that's Buddhist, but I'm more Shinto, and it's a different sect of Buddhism. It's more higher ranking Buddhism. So I'm going at the end of the month to get cleansed. I'm gonna put a video up to a Spooky Haunted, not Spooky Japan, of where I went to and how I do it. It's a really different place, and not very many people go there. Members, especially like me, will go there and get cleansed. And yeah. And when everyone comes in October, guess what? We're all gonna get whitewashed when we go there. Because I'm gonna, all right, you guys, we're going. Like, it's just a place that you have to remove all bad energy and get rid of everything that's attached to you, and so you can go elsewhere and go to another haunted place because you have this shield around you.
It's the smoke from it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an aura shield that you have around you too, that will protect you, that you can go other places.
Interesting. I think I've learned a lot tonight. Overload.
We also have the Day of the Dead here too in Japan.
Like the Dias de Muertes in
Yeah,
like a day kind of thing.
yeah. It's my birthday, July 16th. I make sticky rice, like steamless sticky rice. I use a lot of sweet bean paste, and I wrap it around this sticky rice, and I feed the dead people on my birthday. Yeah, don't ask, okay? It's the most haunted month. For Matt, it's the 25th and 26th.
July
For Matt, it's,
month?
Yeah.
yeah.
No way.
So for her Day of the Dead here is they at midnight go and clean the family grave and share a meal with them. Now when I say family grave, because it's not, cemeteries here are not like United States where everyone has their individual little plot. You have a family one because
So-
there's a land issue with space, so you're cremated down to your bones. The bones are put into a ceramic pot. Then a ceramic pot is put into the family grave.
It's a marble casing.
Yeah, so the front of it will say your last name. The back will have the dates of everyone's first name that when they were born, when they died.
Yeah. I'll take you to.
Where are these family? Is it on the property that the family owns?
No, it's
No,
in cemetery.
there's still cemeteries, but it's just you have a family.
Like mausoleums?
And it's not really a mausoleum because it's a stone.
It's outside.
Like one stone.
They have, instead of having a headstone, they have a huge ceramic. Oh no, not ceramic. They have a huge
Granite?
yeah, whatever one you can have, black, blue, any color you want, gray. They'll carve it, and they'll put the name on the front. They'll put your family last name on it, and then they'll say certain house. Yay means house, where your family, and on the back of it, they'll carve out your name, your last name, your first name, when you're born, when you died. So the whole family would be in one whole plot. In one whole plot, it's like 300,000. 300,000. You buy one whole plot, and all the family after they die will go in that plot.
Yes, so future descendants can be put in that.
Yeah. Like my husband, he'll buy it. Like his family, me, my children will all go in the same plot.
Interesting. I mean, I understand.
And they have a Buddhist priest saying prayers to all the plots. And they have wooden stakes where they have prayers on it, and they'll put it behind each plot. And you have to clean it, so you have to get rid of all the dirt. You have to the cemetery has fresh water, so you can, and they have buckets, and they have a little ladle where you can pour the water all over it. You can burn incense. They have a little area where you can put food down for them too. So you have to feed them because they get hungry.
It's interesting. I'm loving the fact that July is haunted month. I was born on July 23rd. So I love
Yeah,
down here. I love Halloween time.
the country where Amanda is outside of Tokyo. It's all the farmlands and the farmers and everyone else. Celebrates Obon 24th, 25th, and 26th of August. For me, it's July 16th.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's the most haunted month of the year. My son hates it. He hates it. He hates July because all the spirits come out of their graves and they'll come and visit you and they get hungry. So you have to make something for them. You put it on a plate, make sure they eat it. And then you can say, now you gotta go. Bye. Get out of here.
There are other cultures I've seen that do this too. Indonesia, I think, is another one. But is this a Buddhist tradition?
Yeah.
That makes sense. I've seen this in other countries. I mean, I know Mexico has their version, but like,
yeah.
Well, this was kind of different.
China has theirs too. Hong Kong, China, Indonesia, Java.
But
they all have that.
Indonesia, the one that they dig up the dead.
I think China does that.
Oh.
Because
I've seen the one he's talking about where every 3 years they dig up the dead to remember them.
And they
for one day you see pictures of people carrying around dead bodies and you can tell that they've been dead for a while. I'm like, I could not do that. Be carrying around grandma who's been dead for like 15 years. Yeah, but they do that.
Oh, they go.
Yeah.
They go to town. I'm like, I had to watch it twice because I didn't think it was real at first. That was different. That was different.
Yeah. And because of space too, you can only rent a plot for so many years. Mm-hmm. I think that's why they did that, because of space. Mm-hmm. And if you don't pay the tax or if you don't pay the rental fee on the plot, your body will get dug up.
Wow. That's extreme. So eventually it'll all come to an end, though, because someone's going to not be able to pay, right?
Yeah. Yeah. If you don't pay up, yeah.
Wow. Interesting. Okay.
See, living in Asia, you learn a lot of stuff, right? You learn a lot of stuff living in Asia.
If you're over here eating food and let's say you have to use the bathroom, you want to take a drink or whatever, you cannot put your chopsticks directly in the food because that's you offering it to the dead. So if you put your chopsticks directly in the food and you rest it there, people are going to stare at
you. Your chopstick in the food like that. And you can't pass. Like if I want to say, here, try this, it's really good. If I put my chopstick and I give it to you, you cannot hand out your chopstick and take it from me. You have to put it on a plate and you eat it from that plate. Passing food from chopsticks is the only done at the funerals where they have bones. They give you long chopsticks after a person's been cremated, and you carry the bone in one chopstick, and the other person will use the other chopstick and put it in the certain pot. You cannot. That's a no because you only do that at funeral.
Okay, sharing food. The appropriate way to share food is how?
I take it, put it on a little plate.
Yeah.
And I give it to you.
And then you could try my chopsticks to eat it.
Yeah.
Not passing it through chopsticks.
But you can't pass it through chopsticks.
No. Oh, and another thing you're going to have to learn, right? If you ever get a chance to go to a funeral in Japan, don't be surprised because you have to go to the crematorium and you watch the body being cremated.
Watch it?
You have to watch it be cremated.
Because it's your family. You are responsible for that body.
That makes sense. But so Man, if I'm trying to get the translation right on this, it's the equivalent of like us going to the cemetery to watch the body dropped into the ground. In this,
It is, but however, I don't know if I could do. I've seen the body be dropped to the ground, and I'm fine with that. However, I don't know if I could do the one here where you're literally watching that body burn
Right.
down and cremated. That's what I read. I don't think I could do that. Watching that body become nothing.
Guess what? And then they serve you lunch while the body's being cremated and cooled off. And then the whole family goes into this room and they have the certain bones laid out like the body.
I love how the funerals are
They're
dinner
so
and a show.
exactly.
Yeah.
They're
And they say, "Oh, this is the femur. This is that. This is that. This is the head." And they put all the bones in, and the head goes last. And they put the lid on it, and then you can take the body home with you for 28 days. Okay.
yeah.
And then no Kotire is another time where everyone goes and puts the body in case outside in the plot.
Mhm.
And guess what? Your pets are done the same way.
I was about to say that. I'm like, you also have to watch your pet get cremated.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
And
I couldn't.
I
couldn't do
know.
that.
Oh no.
I had to witness it twice to my cats who died.
Like, it's the same kind of like ceremony. Like you have to go to the. Wow.
No, they come to your front house. They come to your house if you want to.
Oh,
They do it. They do it portable in a van,
Sounds.
and then you use chopsticks. No, you use the chopsticks. You put the bones in the pot. They give you a little pot. It all comes with it's only $300, right? It's really cheap. Okay, no, $250, right? It's really cheap. And they do the ceremony. They give you incense, and then they give you a pot. They get a silk thing that covers the pot with their name on it when they died. When they were born, when they died, and then you get the whole rigmarole. You get the whole thing. You get a photo album with it. You get everything else with it. It comes the whole deal, right?
Do you get a
Yep.
photo album of your cat getting cremated?
You're gonna be able to the photo book
When they lived, and you get one of these too.
Yeah, I think that has. She said that has ashes, a bone, and one of the cat's claws in there.
Is that
Yeah.
what is that like a? Is that a?
It's you can open it up. I'm not going to open it up, but yeah.
Is that a key for your part of your? Is that a keychain?
Yeah.
Yeah. That is wild. That is wild.
My female cat who died in March. This is all complimentary.
Wow. I mean, it's cool. It is a cool, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, no, it's not the word I'm looking for. It's just like no, it's cool. It's like, it reminds me of the Lucky Rabbit foot. They put on keychains, but like your animal, but people want to have that kind of momentum.
Memento.
Memento. Ah, that's
Yeah.
and that's really
But
cool.
People don't like. We are used to it right here, but if you ask somebody else from a different country, they say, "Ooh, that's gross."
I would just there's no way I'd be able to watch my dog get cremated.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the hardest thing. Yeah.
It'd be tough.
And
I don't think Americans. There might be Americans who might get used to, watching the funeral of someone getting cremated. However, their pet is a different story where there's no way I can mentally and emotionally go through that.
Yeah, you could go to you could go to a Buddhist temple for just pets alone. You could have a huge ceremony and have the Buddhist priest say prayers and do everything else for that pet in front of him when he's dead, and then they have him cremated afterwards. You could
Where
do
they
that
have,
too.
I
You could
swear
have a
they have temples
huge
for
funeral.
everything here. There's
Yeah.
temples for people to drop off haunted dolls.
Yeah. Yeah.
The shit. That's what people wait. There's temples for that. People do that at the. They do it at my properties. They'll drop off haunted dolls. I mean, they do. They actually have temples for that. All
They have
right.
Yeah.
temples for that.
They have specific temples only for haunted dolls or haunted items.
What? Wait a second. What? What? Like, there is a temple designed specifically to take in haunted dolls. That's their thing.
Yes.
Mhm.
Gotta
Or
come
haunted artifacts. Or haunted artifacts.
It's usually haunted dolls
It would
for
say,
Yeah.
whatever reason.
come
Yeah.
on down to your local temple. We'll take in your haunted doll.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What do they do with them?
They make prayers for the dolls because it's a Buddhist temple.
They make prayers for them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's what
So
you're
they
I guess it
appease.
also depends. There is one temple up north in Hokkaido where there's this famous haunted doll there. And it's her name is Okiku.
Hmm.
And Okiku, the reason why she's on display and people want to visit her is Okiku is said to, if you visit her, she'll appear in your dreams.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I know people have claimed they've seen after visiting her, they've seen her in their dreams. One monk has said what they saw. One monk said that she visited them in their dreams and just kind of told them what they wanted done. That she wanted her hair to be trimmed. Because
Yeah.
here's the story. So way back when, a 17-year-old boy bought a doll for his 2-year-old sister. Her name was Okiku. She died. She died from an illness. They think either malaria or yellow fever. You said Irene is probably malaria.
No, it's
I've heard
yellow fever.
yellow fever. I've heard two. I heard what it depends on who's telling a story. One says
Yeah.
malaria, one says yellow fever. Irene says it's probably going to be yellow fever, being back in that time in that area. But so she died, not able. She basically died, scared and unable to breathe at 2 years old, holding on to this doll. So once she passed, they had for the laws back then, they couldn't bury the doll with her, even though that was like her best friend. She treated that doll like her best friend. They couldn't bury it with her. So it is very common here in Japan that households will have like little shrines for the
Memorial.
deceased. So they had a shrine in their house dedicated to her. And they said on the anniversary of the day she died and on her birthday, they'd have paranormal activity in their house. You hear knocking on the walls, you'd see things being moved, just stuff like that. So
Hmm.
then finally, after 20 years, the family was going to move, but they were afraid if they moved, her power would gone. They also knew that the also reason why they knew this doll was haunted is because originally when she had the doll, she had shoulder length hair. And then one day they opened up the shrine to her, and and the doll's hair was down to the middle of her back. So the hair is constantly growing.
Yeah.
I think the nails is constantly growing too. So they
Yeah.
didn't want her power. They're afraid if we move away from the home and we move this doll away, it's no longer going to have its power. So they gave it to the nearby temple. The temple already heard stories from the locals, so they were excited to take this doll. They took this doll. They have it on display, and they said that she visits you in your sleep. She requested her nails to be clipped, her hair to be trimmed, so they do that for her, and they said the weird thing is, so she's made out of porcelain. Her gums is made out of porcelain. But for some odd reason, all of a sudden now her mouth is starting to, after all this time, her mouth is starting to slowly open, and they're starting to see real baby teeth come through these porcelain gums, just like a child. Like they're starting to see more and more like baby teeth coming through the gums.
What the shit? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you can actually look up Okiku the doll. It's a real doll. And they
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
even say that, like, her mouth is starting to slowly open, and she's starting to develop more, like, what looks like baby teeth coming through the gums.
Yeah. And her hair gets really messy at times too.
Oh, yeah,
Like
so they
her
have to brush it, and obviously trim
her
it.
hair will come like this,
Mm-hmm.
like that. That's what happens to her hair.
Well, this is a first for me. That's the first hearing something like that.
We're planning to go there too.
Well, it's one of those things where we have to see it, and we also
Yeah.
were curious about,
Yeah. Yeah.
what
It,
spirit is in this doll. I don't know if it's actually the spirit of the little girl, but they named the doll obviously off the little girl, so I'm kind of curious on who.
Mm-hmm.
unless we talk to the doll and find out more information from her, I think we have to leave it as that, right?
Yeah.
That's so intriguing, though, that you have these temples that'll take these items in.
Hmm.
They fall under the paranormal umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Oh yeah, and there's another thing. There's another rule in Japan. If you're gonna give a doll to a little girl, make sure it's not bigger than her,
Or the
because
same
if you're
size.
or smaller,
Mm-hmm.
because if it's bigger than her, it's called ichimatsu ningyo. If it's bigger than her, the girl will eventually die for some odd reason, and the spirit would be in the girl. The spirit would be in the doll, so the doll can take over her and unalive her.
And then, okay. Can the girl be trapped in the doll?
Mhm.
Hmm.
Because dolls are handmade by artists who have no children. They cannot produce children.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a superstition that the doll makers cannot have their own children because they put part of themselves into the dolls they're making.
Well, that's an important piece of information right there. The doll makes
And they're all handmade. Yeah, they're all
Yeah,
handmade. The faces are all painted by a really thin brush.
now. Is this what single parents do, or single adults with no kids do? Is that like the profession?
They're years of doll making, generations and generations of doll making.
it's not a rule; it's a superstition. But for some odd reason, if you're a doll maker, you're not going to be able to produce your own kids.
It's urban. We call it urban legend. If you want to, right?
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Huh.
It's just something that even my mom told me a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. That's fascinating. I will definitely look up. What is that doll's name again? The one you were talking about?
Okiku.
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 Okay.
Write it on a piece of paper.
Like, I have to know more about her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again,
You can Google her. You can Google her.
How do you spell it?
O-K-I-K.
Oh wait, OKIK.
Oh.
You.
Oh,
You?
Okiku.
Oh,
Jesus
you. Christ! Look at her.
Yeah. She talks to that picture too, you know.
Oh, thank you, Irene.
He's gonna see her in his sleep now, and he's gonna message us. Fuck you guys.
What you're gonna have to do? What you're gonna have to do? I'm gonna give you a hint. What you're gonna have to do is, I will look at your picture, but you can't come near me. Yep. You can't come near me. You cannot come in my dreams. You can only stay there in that photograph. You cannot bother me. You have to make your boundaries when you talk to her, when you see her, okay?
Tell her to stay in Japan.
It's just something that you have to have boundaries, right? As you do with spirits.
So, these are individually made. There is no factory making these.
No.
No. I've sent people handmade dolls, and the smaller ones, but
Yeah.
And of course, underneath this photo, it's called pediophobia, the fear of dolls. Of course, this comes up first. For people that have fear of dolls, it's this one. This is the
Because she's alive. That's why. She's alive in the doll.
something looks off about this doll. Yeah, there's like the haunted Japanese doll that grows real human hair.
Oh yeah. A lot of dolls in Japan do grow hair.
Yeah.
That's one main trade in this country. The dolls that are haunted in Japan grow hair.
I don't even know what to say. I don't even know. Wow. I will definitely look into that more.
Yeah.
gotta start
And
studying the
ask
haunted
your
dolls.
medium. Ask your medium what she feels in that doll. Ask her medium.
I will. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to just send a picture and be like, what about this?
And make sure she does. She can say to herself afterwards. She can insult herself afterwards, but make sure she protects herself before she looks at it. I'm telling you to do the same thing, okay? Just protect yourself because it's no joke. It's no picnic. It's no laughing matter. It's haunted, and I take things very seriously. Anything haunted in Japan.
Is it currently still in the temple?
Yeah, it's still on display for people to see.
Yeah.
That's like her and I. One day, whenever we go up north, we're like, we have to go visit her.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to come?
Yeah. I mean, the adventure seems pretty wild.
Why not? Plane tickets have become a lot cheaper now.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get $1,000 return on any United Airlines or Japan Airlines. Any one of them, you can go anywhere wherever you're traveling. It's all the same prices wherever you're traveling, whatever city you're coming out of America.
It's the same price. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll pick you up at the airport. You can stay at my place. We'll have a lot of fun.
Don't have that doll in the passenger seat when you pull up.
Oh, shoot. No. We'll cleanse ourselves before we go in there. Don't worry.
That's one thing I kind of wish they did in the United States is over here when there's a funeral, they give you like a gift bag of salt to cleanse yourself before you enter your house.
Huh.
So this
When you
way,
leave.
nothing can follow you inside your house because you cleansed yourself.
Yeah.
It's just a little pack of salt like this big and that. Yeah. It's like the salt package that you get in the States, when you open up, you put it on your fries. Yeah, that's how big it is. Yeah.
It's just like a pack of salt like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's mostly sea salt because it's pure.
Yeah. That you must have felt my question. I was about to say it's because it's pure. Like, why is that used? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You can use black salt. You can use pink salt. You can use whatever you want. But mostly for cleansing from spirits, you use sea salt. It's the easiest way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the easiest way. It's a what we call it, a regular mild cleansing. That's what we call it in Japan.
Well.
See, isn't it fun?
Well, even after 14 years, this is the kind of things that keep me. And
there's a place not too far away from that doll.
Yeah.
It's called going to heaven. In Japan, when you go to heaven, you have a place where there's like a river. They have lots of rocks. Mm-hmm. You walk across the rocks, and it's like going to heaven because you walk your path to go to heaven. And that's why in the dead people, even cats, we wet their lips so they won't feel so thirsty when they go to heaven. because they'll have something to drink. Anyways, putting that aside, there's a place, a whole bunch of rocks, right? And let's say your grandmother died or your grandfather died. There's a medium that lives in that area. You could talk to your grandmother and grandfather.
It's interesting.
Yeah. That's all she does. That's all she does.
Right.
And she has a little temple there. She has a little shrine there. You can walk in. I don't know how much. I don't think they charge that much. But yeah, you can go in there. You can say, I want to talk to my mother. I want to talk to my father. I want to talk to my grandmother.
Have you met this person?
No, but I know the area. I know where it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too far away from the haunted doll. It's on the same area. It's on the same area.
Interesting.
It's on the same spooky area.
Well, no.
North has a lot of funny things going on up there.
Yeah. Oh, even that's the same place where they said the tomb of Jesus Christ is at, right?
Yeah, so there is. It's funny. So this is the biggest hoax here in Japan. Was
Like what?
Yeah, no, yeah, it's a story. I did a TikTok on this. I started before we did Spooky Japan podcast. How I started was I started doing TikToks on haunted places in Japan, urban legends. This is one of the biggest hoaxes in Japan is the tomb of Jesus Christ. So you know how there's a part in the Bible where they don't talk about what Jesus did because people are like, yeah, that's undocumented what he did between this period of time. He toured different places. One of the places he was said to tour was or visited in his tour was Japan. The theory is there is a theory that it was not Jesus who died on the cross, but he switched places with his brother. And his brother, was crucified for him. And for some odd reason, he had his brother's ear with him, and he also had a lock of hair. And he said the lock of hair was his mother Mary's hair. So
Wait,
supposedly what he did when he wasn't crucified and his brother was he fled to Japan and
wait.
he became a farmer. He changed his name and became a farmer. And in this, and he got married to a family and had offspring. And I guess if you see people there with blue eyes, that's supposed to be his ancestors. But they said like there's a temple of Jesus or the tomb of Jesus. There's supposed to be two little mounds, two tombs. One is supposed to be the body of Jesus. The other one is supposed to be the brother's ear and the lock of hair from his mother. It doesn't say which tomb is which. It just says one has the hair and ear, the other one has his body.
And that's all in northern Japan too.
Yeah, it is. It is. They don't believe in it now. Back then they did because there was also supposed to be some kind of book about it too. I forgot what it's called, but they believed it at the time, and it's still a huge tourist attraction. But some people, like some reporters, and asked the locals, "Do you still believe that this is the tomb of Jesus?" And obviously, most of the locals says probably not.
Mm-hmm. What did they say? Jesus had a brother?
Yes.
Is this Mandela effect? Like,
I don't know. Like, there's always this theory. There is a theory that Jesus had brothers. So supposedly one of them was.
well, I heard about Jesus actually having a kid, or something. You hear stories. I remember one was like or something. He had a daughter named Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, interesting.
However, a lot of people say you can't say it's probably a hoax. You don't actually know. Like,
Right.
good point. It could be actual Jesus.
And it could
He
be.
could have
He
could have fled and came to Japan and became a farmer. I don't. You're right. How do I actually know?
We're
Yeah.
playing this game of telephone here.
Yeah.
Like we don't know. We don't know. It's just a story that keeps down. It gets crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. it's there's a lot of things that are freaky.
Mm-hmm.
You can't talk. You don't. You could talk about it, but depending on who you talk about it with, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Someone freaked.
Yeah, there's other crazy stuff.
Yeah.
They say it's one of the mystical countries ever. It is. Some of it's creepy, some of it's interesting, some of it's really like. I know mostly about the ooh part.
Well, no, I want to thank you guys. I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
get
Sure.
I know it's getting late for you, but we appreciate you taking the time to be on the show. Hopefully, you'll be again with us in the future.
Yeah.
I seriously had a great time with you guys.
Yeah, so hopefully you'll come back in the future and we can
Yeah.
talk more. Maybe you'll
Yeah.
learn more about Japan.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It was a pleasure, and yeah,
Pleasure having you.
thank you for inviting me. This was great.
Thank you so much for taking the time to come on. We'll have to get together and try and work out the next time you can come on.
Absolutely.
All
Yeah.
right.
Once we get out of boom season with all the cons, I do have some short breaks after ISS con. Maybe we get
Okay.
it slows down and stuff. We'll definitely work something out. For sure.
Okay.
Sure,
But
no
we'll
problem.
be looking forward to it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And everyone who watched, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you enjoyed
Learn
this as much
something.
as we did.
Learn something sounds like it's singular, like it's plural. Like I learned a lot of things. So
Hopefully you learned a lot of things like Adam did. And everyone, thank you. And we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye.
thank you guys.